Center. Soul football is on the air tonight. The Soul at 11-2 take on the Tampa Bay Storm at 6-6. Hello, everyone. I'm Lou Tilley, and sitting in for my regular partner tonight, Tom Goodhines tonight, Bill Osborne, and Joe DeCamara for 97.5 The Fanatic. Guys, it looks like a big Soul win this year when we look at the statistics, beginning with the one time they played this year, back in Week 9, when the Soul dominated Tampa, Joe, 71-27, the final score in that game.
Well, yeah, Lou, it was a total domination. The Storm, in fact, did not even score in the first half, which is obviously very rare in the Arena League. Jason Bolton really struggled in that game. The quarterback of the Storm had his worst game of the season statistically, only completed 12 passes that day. So the Soul's certainly looking to try to duplicate that once again today.
Billy, when you look at the stats overall this year, you see great balance from the Soul.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think the Soul's offense, defense, a lot of times they had a good defense, not a so good offense, that's good. This year, very well balanced, and they're going to need that tonight against Tampa Bay Storm. Even though they're 6-6, they're going to be a tough opponent.
And guys, it always comes down to quarterbacks, and right now Dan Rodabaugh is an MVP candidate, Joe.
Well, for legitimate reasons. He's right at the top of the leaderboard across most of the key statistical spots for a QB. Completions, touchdowns. I mean, he's right on up there. Obviously elevated his play this year. And really a lot of hope with Rodabaugh, Lou, with what he's doing, that this could be a special season for the Soul.
Joe, nice to have you in the booth. Yes. And Billy, welcome back. An
buddy.
Original member of this franchise, actually, when they were the Pittsburgh Power. When we come back, though, the Philadelphia Soul in the spotlight as they take on the Tampa Bay Storm. Right here, you're watching Soul Football on the Comcast Network.
Brought to you by Independence Blue Cross, Live Fearless, Dynasty Sports Group, DraftKings. Play daily fantasy sports for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of the Philadelphia Soul. Enter promo code SOUL for free entry. The Judge Group, providing people-powered business solutions for over 45 years. Pro Systems, one of Philadelphia's finest audio, video, and lighting contracting firms. Rothman Institute, the exclusive orthopedic provider of the Philadelphia Soul. Hyundai, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Lankenau Medical Center is the leader in sports medicine and the official healthcare provider of the Philadelphia Soul. And Lou Tilley Media, your one-stop shop for full creative media, PR, and broadcasting services nationwide.
The scene is the Wells Fargo Center in South Philadelphia on a warm summer evening. Friday, June the 26th, 2015. Hello, everyone. In the booth tonight, I'm Lou Tilley. But joined tonight by a couple of guys. But Bill Osborne's been here before, veteran of this league, played for the Pittsburgh Power, which eventually became the team that the Soul will play tonight, the Tampa Bay Storm. And also joining us, Joe DeCamara. Joe, good to have you with us from 97.5 The Fanatic. You host the evenings there for, well, I guess since its inception, right, Joe?
Yeah, I go way back, Lou. No question, since we started as a sports format back in 2005. Thrilled to be with you guys tonight. Obviously, an exciting season for the Soul this year, and a real opportunity, guys, here this weekend. The Soul actually can clinch the division this weekend. So a Soul win tonight, which we would generally expect, we'll see, but a Soul win tonight and a Cleveland loss later in the weekend would result in a Soul division win and a berth in the playoffs.
Billy, what a turnaround from a year ago when at this time the Soul was in a dogfight and right around 500, just trying to get into the playoff field. Now with 5 games left, they have a 4-game edge on Cleveland, the team that put them down in the playoffs this year. A lot of changes, Bill, but it seems all to be coming together at the right time.
I think, Lou, that's exactly what happened. You have a coaching staff now that is entrenched. The players know what to expect. The coaches know what to expect from certain players. The system is in place. Now instead of putting in a play, Lou, now you're trying to execute the play to the top level. You know, when you first get there, and you have an offense, you're just trying to get the offense implemented. Now, not only implement it, they're trying to take little nuances and adding to it. So, great job by the staff.
The Soul have won the coin toss, and as they often do in arena football, they'll kick it away, opting to try and get a defensive stop and get the ball to start the second half. The Soul have dominated all through the year at 11-2. At one point, they were 7-0 before their first loss. They have won every quarter of play during the year. That is, they've outscored their opponents first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth. That's Tommy Freebird. He's going to kick it away. They found him in a free agent camp only about 8 months ago, and boy, he's been perhaps the all-arena performer. The goal here is to not only kick it deep, but to kick it off the netting, and if possible, catch some of the iron and make it difficult for a return. Kendrick Ings, and won't be able to return it for the 29th time this year. Freever kicks it out of play and no return. So we'll get our first look at the quarterback tonight of the Tampa Bay Storm, Jason Boltis. And Joe, tell us a little bit about number 16, 6'3", 220 pounds, good-sized kid.
Yeah, Boltis actually had a pretty decent season. He had his worst game of the year against the Soul back about a month ago. Only completed 12 passes that day, 12 of 30 for only 133 yards, which, Lou, obviously from an arena standpoint is a terrible day. He's had very good games this year, upwards of over 350 yards in some games, but really struggled against the Soul before.
And one of the all-time great wide receivers of the league will line up outside for him. T.T. Tolliver in motion right now. Pump fake. And now Boltis throws it long and overthrows Julius Gregory, a big target at 6'4", 225 pounds. It's Gregory, Tolliver, and former Soul wide receiver Emery Salmon starting at wide receivers for the Storm tonight. They come in at 6-6, and they're in a dogfight in their division with Orlando. The Predators sit at 7-6, pending their game coming up later this weekend. Billy, I mentioned earlier you were part of the original franchise that moved to Tampa, but it was not the Pittsburgh Power, pardon me. It was the Gladiators. That's
you bring it back. I just hurt my back thinking about that.
On second down, Boltis over the middle. Good coverage there, and will they rule that incomplete? James Romaine on his way to an all-arena season, number 25 with the defense, Bill.
Yeah, what a great job. That's the second time in a row they went to an all-stop. That's just a 3-yard hitch pattern. They all go out 5 or 6 yards. The first time the Soul really jumped it, they converted to a go route. That time they stayed back a little bit, but as you said, our number 25, the free safety Romaine, did a great job of breaking on the football and knocking it out of play for incompletion.
Romaine, 5'11", 180 pounds, plays much bigger, is the league leader in interceptions with 9 on the season, and a lot of people talking about him getting a look with the big league maybe when the arena season is over. Brings up a big third down for Tampa, 3rd and 10, and no flags, and the pass incomplete, intended for T.T. Tolliver, the second leading wide receiver in arena history, but a little too long.
Well, they really had a complicated route. They went to a 3-wide receiver bunch look. One ran a slant route, one ran a corner route, and the Chiefs, or the Soul, did a great job staying over top.
Joe, it brings up 4th and long. This is a critical play. Of course, you can't punt it in arena football.
Hey, Joe, I know this is your first arena football game. I had the pleasure of being there when Tilly did his first football game. And you could tell he knows what he's talking about. On the kickoff, he's talking about the ball hitting the iron. He had no idea about that.
It took me 5 years to figure that out, yeah. 4th down, Gamble. Foreman Mills brings it to you. And some trouble on the scramble. Gooseby can't track down the quarterback, and Boltis looks like he scrambled for a new set of downs.
What a heads-up play. Sorry, Joe. What a heads-up play that time. Man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Did a great job of recognizing that. Everybody got picked up. He tucked it and ran and just got enough for the first down.
And we certainly should mention Bo Bell is out tonight. Outstanding linebacker for the Soul, who, of course, would have been right around the action of where that play came there. Bo Bell injured and not playing tonight.
And you can see on the replay, they ran a crossing route about 10, 15 yards down the field. The Soul did a terrific job staying over top, but give Bo his credit. He understood that, realized that was man-to-man coverage, and took it and ran it, tucked it, and picked up the first down.
So they'll spot it at the 16, fresh set of downs. Tampa Bay wiggles off the hook, and this time Bolt is way too hot for the veteran receiver. Tolliver can't hold on the swing.
They ran that little bubble motion, and instead of going down the field, Tolliver kind of bubbled back. You know, you see that a lot in the outdoor game too, that little bubble screen. But as you said, boy, that thing came in very hot, and it's only 20 yards wide.
Tolliver on the season, this is his 15th year, guys. Second leading all-time in receptions and yardage with over 13,000 career yards, 1,053 receptions coming into the season. Has 81 this year for 11-21 and 26 touchdowns. Second and long for Boltis. Looking, then throwing long and finding a receiver for a Tampa Bay touchdown.
Well, Lou, you said it, looking, and really the protection on that play was the key, obviously. I mean, the receiver getting behind the Soul defensive back was huge, but great protection up front, gave Boltis the time, and ultimately able to find his receiver down the field.
And Lou, I was going to say, Boltis actually did a terrible job on his reads. He had Tolliver wide open for the first down on the post corner route. I don't know why he didn't throw it to him, but he looked at him, and then had a presence of mind. And as you said, Joe, great individual effort. But the key was the pocket pressure. There was none.
Here's the key, extra point. It's not a gimme in the Arena League, and it's up, and this is good. Craig Peterson punches it through. We're underway. First quarter action from the Wells Fargo Center. 10:01 to go. Tampa Bay has the jump on the Soul, 7-0. You're watching the Philadelphia Soul on the Comcast Network, brought to you each and every week by the Pennsylvania Lottery. For the current multi-million-dollar Powerball jackpot, visit www.palottery.com. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 years or older. You're looking at a high shot over top of the Wells Fargo Center in South Philadelphia, where the Soul find themselves trailing, a rarity this year. 11-2 on the season and have a chance to clinch a playoff spot with still 4 games left in the regular season. If they should win tonight and Cleveland lose tomorrow at Jacksonville. Hi, everyone. Lou Tilley along with Joe DeCamara and Bill Osborne joining me in a very tight booth tonight.
Thank God you guys wore your Axe body spray, or whatever that is. I don't know. I saw girls up here. I didn't know if they were following you up here, Lou.
No, those were the dogs.
Oh, that's what it was.
Craig Peterson kicking it away to James Romaine, who has breakaway speed, has yet to return one for a touchdown, but first has to corral this one. He'll be corralled in his own end zone, but that's not a safety in the Arena League.
Well, certainly a different start to this game, guys, than a month ago. 1 month ago.
Good point.
Such a rarity, as you know,
point.
Lou, for a team to actually be shut out in the first half, which the Storm were.
That's unbelievable.
It took them 37 minutes to score their first points.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, Lawrence Samuels, the coach of Tampa Bay, has to be happy with how his team has started tonight.
There's a flag on the play. Looks like there was a personal foul, Lou. Soul got, yeah.
Yeah, Dave Coutet is our referee tonight. He's a friend, and he won't be happy that we took away some of his face time there. But we did get his call, so a personal foul against Tampa gives the Soul some breathing room. Take a look at the Soulmates, part of the team here since its inception 10 years ago.
Yes. So if it's anything like other games, Lou, I think the head referee is going to get a lot of face time.
Yeah. Too much.
Yes.
Radaball's first throw of the night is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Dan Radaball, amazingly consistent, now in his 5th year in the AFL, is 67% on the season and maybe is the leading candidate right now as the MVP. And this is 4th year in Philadelphia. Dan, 303 for 454, 86 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Tremendous season. Now, he'll be without SK tonight, who is also out from this game. So they sold down one of their key receivers.
Sean Kalinamoko from Hawaii is going to sit out tonight. They thought maybe he could go, but he's got a strain in the knee, and they thought, well, let's play it safe. Instead, Ryan McDaniel will step up. That's the 6'3", 200-pounder out of Georgia.
Well, he's been a consistent receiver, and that's just an uncovered. That's just, you see right there, that's actually a no-step drop. It's a one-step drop, uncovered receiver. Get him the football and let him get upfield, and not only did he get upfield, he was able to pick up the first down.
So the Soul crossing midfield. They average 58 points per game scoring. That's 2nd in the league. And allow 45 points on defense. That's 3rd best. So good balance for the Soul, and that's why they're right up there near the top. But this one is nearly picked off by Alfred Phillips on a ball overthrown. And Dan was decked, Bill? Yeah,
he was decked, but he had a receiver wide open in the middle of the field. He just got pressure. Marco Thomas was wide open, but he got pressure.
Yeah, he got hit hard, guys. I mean, there's no question. He got sandwiched in between 2 defenders there, and he did not look happy getting up.
Oh, let me tell you something. Who doesn't look happy is Clint Ozell. Holy mackerel. I don't know if he's yelling at his quarterback or his offensive line, and my guess he's yelling at his quarterback and say, listen, you're the quarterback. Sit in the pocket. You're going to get hit. Deliver the football. He was not happy.
Yet to be heard from Marco Thomas, one of the league leaders and the receiver of the year a year ago. But that's Ryan McDaniel, the motion man, going long. Radaball looking to the corner, and a fingertip grab. Incomplete as McDaniel slams into the wall.
Certainly had him, just a little overthrown. Well-run pattern by McDaniel. Created separation, just a little bit overthrown.
Well, that's a great point, especially in this league, Joey. What you got to do is you have to get up on the DBs. You have to break that cushion before you make your route and make your move. And he did a great job. He broke the cushion. He got right up on him. He was open. Radaball just didn't hit him.
Brings up 3rd down and long. Soul 2nd best in the AFL on 3rd down conversions at 51%. Make that 3rd best. This will be 3rd and 10, and there's Marco Thomas in motion. Radaball throws underneath and then throws it away.
And Lou, did you see what happened right there? All of a sudden, Tampa Bay Storm, they went from a zone look, they jumped into man-to-man look, and then Radabol was looking at number 3 on the inside, the receiver, right, on Thomas. But what they did is when they jammed him at the line of scrimmage, they jammed him into the linebacker, and he was not able to get free. And he would have been wide open. He would have had a clean release, but a great job by Tampa hitting him, getting him in the linebacker, and basically took out the middle of the field.
So it brings up a 4th down. Foreman Mills gamble on the part of the Soul. They are also one of the best in the AFL on 4th down attempts this year. And a flag flies as Radabol's pass falls incomplete. Hold on now. Let's see what the call is. David Kutai, our referee, has thrown a flag, I think, on the Tampa bench.
No foul. It is only a sideline warning regarding Tampa. No foul for that.
So Tampa has held on downs, forced the turnover in effect, and the Storm will have a chance to take a 2-score lead when we come right back from the Wells Fargo Center. There was a personal foul against Tampa Bay, and a new set of downs as 4th down is replayed by the Soul, and Dan Radabol throws left to McDaniel to pick up the 1st down, guys. So a big break thanks to the referee's whistle.
Well, good job by the Soul recognizing down and distance. You go out there, you go out and you run a 5 or 6 yard hitch route. You get enough for the 1st down. Radabol delivered the football, and he was able to corral it enough for the 1st down.
Dave Kutea, we heard him make the sideline warning to the Tampa Bay sideline, but after that he called an offside against the Tampa Bay linebackers, which gave a 4th down retry for the Soul, which they converted. So 1st and 10 from the 12. They throw it to the big man Smith. The guard tight end releases, and Adam Smith has his 4th touchdown of the season.
It's always a beautiful play to see when you see that guard tight end jump out. Once again, Adam Smith for the 5th time this year catching a TD pass. And tell you what, that's one of those things, Billy, you know from playing in the league. That's not what the defense is always expecting, but when it happens, it's a thing of beauty.
You got that right. When that comes in and you're in the offensive huddle and you know you're an offensive lineman, you're going to get the ball, you can really hardly to express yourself come up the line of scrimmage because you're going to give it away. But a great job of the offense selling it to the front side, little fake to the front side, wide open, and then knock it down there to the backside on the left side for an untouched touchdown.
McDaniel handles the bad snap. Freevert punches it through the Soul instead of falling behind by 2. They've come back to tie it. It's 7-all with 4:24 to go. You're watching the Soul football on the Comcast Network. And look at the Wells Fargo Center. A nice crowd on a Friday evening in the Philadelphia area. The Soul coming in at 11-2, taking on the Tampa Bay Storm tonight. The Storm in the white jerseys with the blue and a little yellow trim in their slacks and their pants. The Soul wearing their home blue with the gunmetal black helmets that they've worn since their inception. They won it all back in 2008, and this is clearly their best charge back towards the championship, although they've been in the Arena Bowl twice since, but have come up short a couple of times. Tommy Freevert for the Soul. This one will come up short and be returned by Inc. for Tampa Bay. Stumbles and is tackled by the 3-yard line.
I knew what you meant there.
Yeah.
But Romaine was right on him, did a great job of staying in his lane. And Lou, I love how you explain the colors. And next time we do this, I'll bring my helmet or my jersey. The Tampa Bay Storm, who used to be the Pittsburgh Gladiators, you said, they changed their colors because it was a little bit of a darker blue, and it was more of a, like the yellow was more of like a gold yellow. So they've gotten with the times too. But I don't think there's any better Soul pattern or combination, color combination than the Soul, right? Would you agree? I mean, I like the Voodoo, but the Soul's colors are awesome.
Great uniforms. Great uniforms.
All right, now we got our E-Entertainment, fashion police stunt.
Baltus with a dangerous throw to the near sideline, so Tolliver has his first reception of the evening. That's complete, and there might be a pass interference on Larico Stevenson as well.
Personal foul, face mask. Grabbing a helmet opening, number 23. That's a 10-yard penalty. Also an automatic first down.
Dave Kutea, in his first appearance, or second appearance on TV tonight, he's quite a character, fellas. He's one of the, how they have the referee in the booth now on Fox College Football. Dave's doing that now. And he was also one of the main NCAA referees. And he also went on our first visit to China for the new CAFL over there, is helping us teach the young Chinese officials about the game. Baltus with some time throws to the corner doesn't throw that well, and there's good coverage down there.
Yeah, good job up front by the Soul, getting some pressure. And as you said, great job in the secondary. And Lou, there's nothing more difficult in football than to play defense in arena football because you are in the secondary because you got guys coming at you on every single play. 95% of pass plays. You're expected to play man-to-man coverage, and you're expected to stay on top of a guy on a short field. So that's why you see so many guys getting burnt for long touchdowns. But as you always said this too, Lou, you're a defensive guy. You have to have a very short memory playing secondary in the Arena League.
Yeah, well, that's coming naturally at my age. Second down and 10. Boltis back, firing complete. A little bit short. They'll probably give it to Tolliver, the veteran receiver.
Yeah, I actually thought he got it. Looks like it might have marked him about a half a yard short of where he was, but it's right on the marker there.
And Lou, you talk about the defense for the Soul. I mean, I think they're one of the keys, and we talked about it early in the season, was getting pressure on the quarterback, and there's no doubt about that. But this secondary really is, from what I can see early in this ball game, they're doing a great job disguising coverages, doing a great job of staying in their areas in terms of man-to-man coverage, and then they do a lot of switch routes, and they're doing a good job of staying over top and staying with their man. There don't see many guys running free.
They'll sneak it on 3rd and short, and that's a first down for Tampa. Tampa in Week 9 met the Soul down in Tampa Bay with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. The quarterback, Boltis, hit Tolliver for a touchdown. It was the first touchdown for the Storm in the game. They had trailed 34-0 with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Soul went on to win 71-27, the biggest loss in the history of the Tampa Bay franchise, one of the originals from 1987. On first down, Boltis has time, throws to the corner, a dart, and has another touchdown to Kendall Ings, the rookie wide receiver who came right out of high school, has it for a score.
Well, if you look at the instant replay, our DB, as we see right there, number 25, who you're talking about being an all-pro, but even those guys make mistakes. He stopped getting out of his back pedal. He got flat-footed. Instead of backpedaling, he allowed the receiver to close the cushion and get right on top of him. And when he closed that cushion, it was like taking candy from a baby because he did a post-corner move and he was wide open. But again, that was the fault of the free safety, letting the receiver close the cushion and not stay in his back pedal.
Here's the biggest place kicker in the AFL. Craig Peterson's listed as 6'5", 290 out of Cortland State. Punches a second one through, and a surprise in the making with 37 seconds to go in the first quarter. We'll take a break. It's Tampa Bay 14, the Soul 7. Craig Peterson for Tampa getting ready to kick it away to the Soul, and the Storm working the upset, leading 14-7 with 37 seconds left in the first quarter. Joe, you see anything in the stats?
Well, yeah, a few different things, but even before that, let me just say, as we've been talking about, Lou, there's no question this is a very important game for Tampa Bay. I mean, we know the Soul are going to make the playoffs, any which way, and certainly the Soul are fighting for home field, but this is a game where Tampa Bay really needs it to crank up their playoff chances, and they're fighting, they're showing it tonight.
Romaine, normally Stevenson back to take the kickoffs, a little more sure-handed. Romaine a little bit more of a breakaway threat. Takes his second kickoff off the netting this evening and brings it out to about the 4-yard line where Dan Radabal will take over.
Radabal's first possession, 3 for 7, Lou, and only for 30 yards. It certainly was a disjointed first possession for the Soul, but when you end it with 7, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
No issues there. But certainly in the first possession, the Soul did not hum to the same extent that they frequently do.
It's a rhythm game for most quarterbacks in the Arena League, but particularly Dan under the tutelage of Clint Dozell. They've been together for Dan's entire pro career, lasting 5 years. It started down in Dallas, and that'll be it for the first quarter. Surprisingly, after being shut out at the half in Week 9, Tampa Bay instead lead the Soul after one quarter. The score 14-7. Hey, welcome back from the Wells Fargo Center. You're watching Soul Football on the Comcast Network. Lou Tilley, Joe DeCamara, and Billy Osborne. Joe, first time up here in the booth. You can appreciate the job Jim Jackson does from this distance. What are you seeing from the Soul tonight?
Well, fortunately, it's easier than announcing a hockey game, let me tell you that. But, Soul a little sluggish offensively in the first possession, but it resulted in a TD. Just got to get some better defense going here once they get back on the field defensively.
Radabal, a nice timing throw to Ryan McDaniel to start the second quarter. These two, if you saw the Soul Insider just before our telecast tonight on the Comcast Network, you saw me interview the two of them. They're starting to look like twins with their mountain man reddish beards in full bloom. When did that come to football, guys?
I have no idea. I don't know how. Can he get out of here fast, too? I guess for us it doesn't matter, but what matter what they look like, he came in with 90 catches already, and he's picked up 3 or 4 in tonight's ball game. Great job on that first down play.
Deep throw to Marco Thomas. No, that'll be ruled incomplete. Almost a circus catch as he slammed into the boards right in front of sole owner. There he is, Ron Jaworski.
Well, Coach Dozell is not real happy because his quarterback got hit, but I know that's the board there, but as a receiver, you got to make that catch. That's a bang-bang play. He was able to corral that football, but I'm sure, let's put it this way. And you go into the meeting rooms, I'm sure he's going to say, guys, that's my fault. I should have caught that. I had 2 hands on it. But it wasn't easy. Let's put it that way. A post corner route, and you got the boards coming right on top of you.
Marco Thomas looking for his first catch of the game. He was the league leading receiver a year ago, the Cutters Player of the Year at wide receiver, and there it is. A short one to get him involved in the timing. Picks up about 5 yards.
Yeah, gets him going, Lou, which is important. I mean, he's certainly been one of the best Soul players this year. Really kind of struggled a little bit more earlier in the season, but as we've seen the progression in his first year with the Soul really has come on tremendously as the season's gone on.
Kind of taking the role of Tiger Jones, who was here for a couple of years, has moved down to Jacksonville.
That's a great point. And now, Lou, here, third down, as people in the outdoor game may not realize, but this is a 2-down territory right here. They don't have to get it all, but look for like some type of stop route. And unless they jump a man-to-man, then you're going to see an over-the-top route.
Motion man is Thomas. Double hitch, and Ronaball will do that. If he doesn't have a sure thing, he'll live to play on 4th down again.
Well, that was a nice play by him. He threw it out of bounds, but he was committed to that wheel route. There was a wheel route coming out of the backfield, but right in the middle of the field, he had Thomas wide open on a stop route for a first down. Literally in the middle of the field. That's what Coach Dozell is telling him. Again, he was committed to this wheel route, but if he went through his progressions, they'd have been moving the chains right here.
That was Tommy Taggart, who lines up at fullback for the Soul, and this will bring up a 4th down Foreman Mills play, one of the best in the business. And on 4th down are the Soul, but they've already been stopped once by Tampa tonight. Quick throw to Thomas, going to have to run for it. I don't think he got it.
Definitely did not get it. Clint Dozell very, very, very unhappy. No question. He is fired up and not happy at all.
Let's give credit where credit's due. That is a heck of a play in the open field by the Storm. That's not an easy play. That was an uncovered route. They only needed 5 yards. They were a little dump pass. But Lou, as a former linebacker, that was an unbelievable open field tackle, right?
Not happy is Ron Jaworski. Whether it was a fine tackle or not, the credit Rick Hill, the Jack linebacker, with the shoestring tackle. And a rare second turnover on downs by the Soul here in the first quarter. Or the first half, I'm sorry.
And you see what happens? Like, that was a manageable 3rd down and 5. But it makes it a little bit more difficult instead of getting those 2 or 3 yards on 3rd down where you got to get the whole 5 or 6 on that 4th down.
So Boltis has a chance for a 2-score lead, throws behind his intended receiver. That was Julius Gregory, big target at 6'4", 225, 62 catches on the year coming in.
I'll tell you what, that was a great secondary read by the Soul. Kent Richardson was right there in the middle of the field. He just lost, I think he lost his vision on the quarterback because that ball went right by his ear. You see that, Lou? I mean, he was playing center field almost like free safety and really had an opportunity to get an Oski there.
Yeah, it sure looked like he had a great shot to pick it off and just lost sight of the ball.
Gregory is the motion man. Boltis on 2nd down. Throws for the end zone for Gregory. Leaps up and makes a touchdown catch for Tampa Bay. And the Storm take a 2-score lead on the Soul.
Billy, you mentioned earlier a great play. And that is a great individual play. I mean, a tremendous catch, leaping grab. Romaine was there, but perfectly thrown ball, and what a grab.
That's a great job, Joe. You're exactly right, because Romaine was right there. Now, the only thing that I would say he did different, he should have stayed on his upfield shoulder, so he went underneath it. When you go underneath, you either going to get it or you're going to get beat like that. But he was there in great position, but that was a heck of a throw and catch.
Reminded me of the play in the Super Bowl, that player for Seattle, if you remember, from the Arena League, who was dominating for the first 2-3 quarters of the Super Bowl, may have been the MVP if Seattle had won, who came from the Arena League.
Peterson now 3 for 3 for just the 3rd time this year. The Soul trail by 2 scores. Can they come back? Stay with us on the Comcast Network. Home game after a week off for the Soul following this one. Saturday, July 11, an afternoon start, and it's Military Appreciation Day as the arch rivals from Cleveland. They played in that Arena Bowl a year ago to a sold-out house in Cleveland. Come in to play the Philadelphia Soul. They knocked off the Soul 3 times last year on the last play of the game. Tickets available, 888-789-SOUL. It's military night. You'll see our Wounded Warriors play in wheelchair football after the game against a crew of local celebs. It is a sight to see and worth the dollar in total. Cleveland, or rather Tampa Bay, with a 2-score lead on the Soul, working the upset here in Philly. That's a live ball and goes out of play, fortunately for the Soul. Guys, what do you think?
That's lucky for the Soul right there. They could have had another possession turn, but right now the Soul, there's plenty of time in this football game. The Soul is too good of a team. They're too sound offensively and defensively to panic. They can't get 2 scores right away. What they got to do right now is they got to hold serve, go out there, put a drive together, and get on the board. That's the only thing they can worry about right here. Don't worry about anything else or being down 2 scores.
They'll start from the 5-yard line, and Dan Rotteball, off his game, averaging 285 yards per game, has just 37 total right now. He's right on 67% percentage for the game. He's 50% so far tonight, but that's not unusual for Dan. Sometimes a little slow to find his rhythm, and I think as Billy pointed out, he's seeing some combination defenses thrown at him by Tampa Bay in the early going. They go back to Thomas on kind of the same play that came up short on 4th down.
Well, that time there was, again, an uncovered receiver, and what they do with that motion man, Lou, they just take him out high and they run him right at the free safety, so you got a lot of separation. That time, again, that was a 1-step drop, just pitch and catch, and sometimes that's just a play called at the line of scrimmage. They go up there, they have the play called, they see uncovered, boom, they just hit him to the football.
2nd down and short. Soul have only scored on 1 of their 3 possessions so far this year, or rather this game, and Thomas can't hold to that one. Catchable?
No question. Should have had it. Should have been a 1st down. Simply dropped the ball.
Well, I think what happened there is if you're Tolliver, you're number 3, you got to go to your quarterback. You got to get into as you know, Lou, you got to get into a lane. And he actually went in and went closer to the free safety. Rotteball threw it over his right shoulder. Not an easy catch, but definitely, Joe, as a catchable football. That should have moved the chains.
Bringing up a 3rd down for the Soul. 3rd time they face this. Again, they've scored on only 1 of 3 possessions. And for the year, they've scored on 85% of their drives this season. On that completion to Thomas, it's right on the 15-yard line, which is the mark for a new set of downs. And, boy, they give him a good spot, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Thomas a little slow to get up. Looks like he's all right, but a little ginger there as he walks back toward the huddle.
Now, you see what they're doing, Lou? They're the Tampa Bay saying, we're not going to give you the home run. We're going to give you these little short routes, and that's what they're doing. So right now, the Soul is going to take what they give them, but don't be surprised if Tampa Bay comes up and tries to jump one of those routes, and don't be surprised if you see a hitch and go by the Soul.
1st and 10 from their own 16. Rotteball throws off his back foot. Long has a receiver. Touchdown, Soul. That's Harvey Binford with just his 6th catch of the season for his 2nd touchdown of the year.
Well, big play by Binford. With SK out, between Lonnie Outlaw and Binford, one of the two, kind of has to step up tonight. Big-time play, getting behind the defensive back and making this what we expect should be a 7-point game.
Well, like I said, Lou, sooner or later, the Tampa Bay's have to come up and play man-to-man coverage, and that's exactly what they did. They jumped the man-to-man coverage, and that time, instead of a 5-yard hitch route, they went through a little post-corner move, and they were able to avoid the hitch or the little jam route about 5 yards down the field, and he got behind him for 6. And again, that's what happens. You either stay over top and give up the 5-yard hitch route, or you try and jump to man-to-man and hope you get an incompletion. That time the Soul gambled, and they gambled right.
Rutherford to Binford, touchdown. Freever with the extra point. It's Tampa 21, Philly 14. Always by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Lou Tilley along with Joe DeCamera from 97.5, The Fanatic, and Bill Osborne from Vices, I guess. Can we talk about that a little bit, Billy?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's talk about that, Joe. Billy's got a new helmet technology that he's been working with to prevent concussions and bring safety to the sport.
Yeah, well, thank you. There'll be a big article out on Monday about it, and it's very exciting, Lou. As you know a lot about it, this is something that we are very excited about. I'm very passionate about, and I truly believe that this helmet will change football for the good, and it's a much safer helmet. And we're gonna talk about this in about 2 months. We're gonna release it to the nation.
Onside kick attempt by Freevert. It's a good pop-up, and the Soul think they may have recovered it. But no, referee Dave Kutea says the ball will go to Tampa.
Yeah, Freevert's been such a weapon this year. And once again, there, an outstanding kick, just not able to be corralled. But there's no question Clint Dalzell has utilized that time and time again this year, and often to the Soul's benefit.
Well, I know, and Lou, a lot of times.
Half distance to goal. Soul was also offsides on the play.
So a lot of times people will be saying, whoever watched the indoor game, they'll be like, well, why the heck are you onside kicking? Well, first off, that's something where you got to try and get, you got to return serve somewhere, because now you're on the back end of a possession time. You got to break serve, exactly. Yeah. Number two, teams score about 95-98% of the time. So in theory, it doesn't matter whether you start from the 10-yard line or you have to go 40 yards, or you start at the 10-yard line, you have to go 10 yards, you're going to score anyway. So there's a gamble there. You pick out where you can do it, and the Soul almost caught him sleeping.
Good explanation. It does take some getting used to. I remember the first game you and I did down in Orlando, and I was dumbfounded. Boltus looking to the end zone, and he's sacked. First sack of the night. Brian Robinson's in there, along with Teddy Jennings, who just rejoined the team at defensive end out of the University of Connecticut for the sack.
Well, classic example, Lou, of the tight field when you get to around the 10-yard line. It's much harder for the receivers to create separation. Boltus was holding the ball. The pass protection really was not bad initially, but eventually just caved in.
And that's a great example of team defense, because you're exactly right. The secondary did a great job. They did a couple switch routes. There was a post corner move and a switch route, but they stayed over top, kept their man, as you said. Basically, he didn't know where to throw the football, and then the pocket eventually collapsed.
Second and goal now from the 13. Boltus, Tolliver jammed at the line. They throw it to the end zone, and then flag comes flying. It looks like pass interference on the Soul. James Romaine, who's had a tough go of it so far tonight, is flagged.
Well, the Tampa Bay Storm tried to run a
defense. Number 25, penalties after this to the goal. Automatic first down.
The Tampa Bay Storm tried to run a little rub route, and actually they were trying to get the underneath receiver, and Romaine was over top, but he got called holding. But again, they were trying to run a rub route, switch route, and they got called at the pass interference.
Interesting to note, as Tampa Bay, of course, now on the 6-yard line, they very, very rarely run the football. Now, if they're on the 1-yard line, that can be a different story, but we're talking about a team with Jason Boltus, the quarterback, as the leading rusher this year.
Good call. They rarely run their fullback, and he's a huge man, mostly a blocker, as he does right there. And then Boltus throws left, and another flag flies.
And they're going to get Romaine again on defensive holding on the wide receiver right in the goal line.
And 2 flags also as Boltus near where he got hit, a flag.
Yep. Well, the Soul went man-to-man coverage, and when you go man-to-man, you got to – it's tough, but you can't get caught holding, and that's what happened with Romaine. I know one of the flags is on him for a defensive holding.
Let's hear the call.
Holding, defense. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. That penalty's accepted. Half to this to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well, there you go. Dave's a veteran broadcaster. He summed it all up for us.
Yep. Except they didn't give numbers. They don't give numbers in arena football, Lou?
Actually, it was Larico Stevenson called for the pass interference. I'm not sure who the personal foul was called on. First and goal from the 3. The fullback is number 50, Hardrick, normally an offensive lineman.
And Billy,
you can see why.
Yeah, Billy, I think it's pretty obvious there that maybe they don't run because they don't have a running game.
That would be a key thing. You have to have a running game to run the football,
that
or a guy
pretty.
that can run the football.
I mean, it's amazing, guys. Other than Boltus, who has run 40 times this year, their next leading rusher from an attempt standpoint is Dexter Jackson with 5 attempts rushing the ball this year. I mean, it's a far cry, certainly from the Soul and almost all other teams in arena football.
That's a wide receiver on the end around.
And they're 12th in the league in rushing. They're 12th in the conference, so they're like one of the worst teams, as you said. We pointed this out, and then the numbers back it up.
Second and goal. Backed up to the 6 now. Boltus pump fakes, throws to the back of the end zone. Hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. It was the big nose tackle, Lawrence, getting through. Justin Lawrence, and applying the pressure.
Yeah, real nice play by Lawrence, who today switched to linebacker, Lou, for this game with Bo Bell out. So he comes up through the middle. Justin Lawrence, linebacker today, and Teddy Jennings starting where Lawrence usually would up front on the line.
Boy, Jennings is a great athletic defensive end who was all-arena caliber a year ago and just rejoined the team a couple of weeks ago. And now they've got a 3rd and goal at the 6. Soul trying to come up with a goal line stand here against Boltus and the Tampa Bay Storm. Quarterback fires to the end zone and it's incomplete. Ripped apart and ripped away. And now some fisticuffs in the end zone as Romaine gets into it.
Guys, that's the kind of play you love to see from your defense, because James Romaine did not have the inside track for that ball. And initially, it looked like, as you indicated, Lou, it was going to be a touchdown. He kept fighting, scrapping, battling, got his hands in there enough, and ultimately was able to dislodge it. Fantastic play by Romaine.
The young people and a nice crowd on hand here trying to get into it as the Soul are forced a 4th down and goal at the 6. Boltus will put Gregory in motion. Has time. Throws to the end zone. And incomplete. The Soul have forced the turnover on downs. They hold on downs inside the 10.
My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. On a 4th down play, that is huge. The coach of staff for Tampa Bay has a point, because Gregory went into Romaine, and Romaine just bear hugged him in the middle of the field and got away with it.
So the Soul get the ball back. They trail by 7 with a chance to tie when we come back. Back at the Wells Fargo Center, the Soul have it back after a goal line stand, and they'll be back in action 2 Saturdays from now on the 11th of July. An afternoon game, a rare afternoon game at 1 in the afternoon. 888-789 Souls. They take on their arch rivals, the Cleveland Gladiators. It's also Military Appreciation Night. Well, the Weir Chair Warriors will be taking on some of the local celebs like Blair Thomas and Vince Papali, coached by Ron Jaworski. They blew our guys out last week, and they are a terrific bunch. Lou Tilley, along with Joe DeCamara and Bill Osborne, calling tonight's game. Soul with a goal line stand now, and they have the ball back with 3:22 to go in the second, trailing most of the way, all of the way, in fact, against Tampa Bay, a team they were heavily favored against coming out tonight. On 1st down, the hitch and go, looking for Thomas, long down the sideline, and he can't quite get there.
Had him beat. Thomas had him beat.
Well,
ball thrown a little bit inside there, Billy.
Yeah, as we talked about, sooner or later it was going to be a hitch and go, and that's what they did. They jumped the underneath route. They ran a hitch and go, and you called it, Joe. On that type of play, you've got to keep it to the outside. He was a wide open. He ran the hitch, but he actually ran the go, a wheel route up the sideline, and Rattleball brought him in too far. And sometimes the toughest play to catch and throw is guys running free, wide open, and he was a wide open receiver. He just couldn't get him the football.
Watch how they manage the clock now. We have a rolling clock until the final minute of each half, and the Soul picking up a 1st down, I think, to Thomas, with 2:28 to go in the first half.
And, guys, we should go back to the last possession. The stand by the Soul in the red zone defensively, so critical. Now, listen, football is always a game of possession, but arena football truly is. I mean, Billy, you know from playing it, and Lou from announcing all these years, there aren't many stops in a game. That's why the Soul typically onside kick maybe twice a game. You're looking for that 1 or 2, maybe 3 opportunities a game.
Well, I know from playing too, but we never had an end zone goal line stand at Wake Forest, so I'm unfamiliar with this.
Come on, Lou.
Taggart is the fullback out of the University of Oklahoma, who played with who, Joe?
Billy Sims.
I know our guy.
No, it's not that old.
Our quarterback.
Our
Our new quarterback for the Eagles. Hey, and just to reiterate what Joe said.
I played against Billy Sims.
What Joe said earlier. Remember, Lou, were like, okay, it's 2 scores down. What do the Soul have to do? Well, we said they just got to do what they do.
Yeah.
They had to score on their offense.
And look how they're using this clock.
And then they played defense. But another point of that, Joe, they did it off an onside kick in that red zone stand. They set their defense up in the red zone. So that was a great defensive stop, considering they did it on an onside kick.
Nice play by the defensive line for Tampa to swat down that pass. It was Everett Dawkins who knocked down Radabaw's slant pass. It'll bring up 3rd and long for the Soul as we go down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in the indoor league, in the Arena League, it's the 1-minute warning. So there's timeout on the field. We'll take this break, and we'll come back with the Soul looking to tie it. They trail Tampa 21-14. 1 minute to go in the first half of the Wells Fargo Center. The Soul averaging 57 points a game, guys, have just 14.
Well, you look at it, we talked about before, what do they have to do? Now, okay, so we know it's not going to be a wide open game. Now they just got to manage this game. What did Chichi Rodriguez say or something like that? You playing golf? You know, you come to whatever there is at that day, that's what you got to play to. Well, the Soul has to play to a tight ball game.
This game's a fight. There's no question.
Yep.
Got a good game here.
Chichi's probably said anything you want to say at some point in his life.
Him and Trevino, right? They were colorful characters.
They never shut up.
Right.
I was watching Nicholas, Gary Player, and Trevino play about 4 weeks ago in a seniors event, and Trevino never shut up. And you could see Nicholas was just as ticked off as he would have been 30 years ago.
No doubt. And it's funny. I also saw something now. They're looking on the field right now. Coach Dozell, I love him, and he is all over the place. He is yelling at his receiver, do not come up a yard short. When you run a route, you got to get the first down. So he's screaming at his receiver. He's screaming at the official at the spot, and then he's got to get a play in.
And it brings up a 4th down for the Soul with just 29 seconds to go here in the first half and a chance to tie before the buzzer.
Well, Lou, as you know, when you run a choice route or an option route, that is a choice option route designed for you to get the first down when you catch the football.
Ooh, Taggart runs it off the left side, and this spot will be huge.
I think they're giving it to him.
Yeah, and I think that's legit. It looked like he got it.
Yep.
Good push right up the middle. Listen, guys, Tommy Taggart this year has had a very nice season. It was not easy for him to be the replacement for Derek Ross, all the success Derek Ross had here in Philly. But Tommy Taggart, both from a rushing standpoint and the one thing in particular, a pass blocking standpoint, has really done a fantastic job.
Much better blocker, but a good athlete at 6'3", 275, played for the Sooners, for Sam Bradford, one of his linemen actually. Made the conversion here, has carried it for 230 yards this year.
Yeah, and there's a shot of the Soul bench right there, and to the right they had Coach Dozell, and again, he is all over his receivers, and, you know, he is a stickler. There he is right now. He's yelling at his quarterback. He's yelling at his receivers.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand it. And, you know, when you're designed for a route, you're told when you run your route, if you get hit immediately, you have to make sure you pick up the first down, and that's what he's trying to implement, and that's what he's trying to share with his team in a very colorful way, I might add.
So 22 yards to get it to the end zone with 18 seconds left. McDaniels in motion down the left side. They throw it the left side. Thomas is double-teamed, something of a rarity in arena football, and it falls incomplete.
Pass interference, Bill, you think it should have been? What do you think?
Yeah, it should have been. I don't know what it was in terms of pass interference, but Coach Dozell is screaming again at his quarterback, and rightly so. He had his receiver running wide open, Lonnie Outlaw running a crossing route, and he threw into double coverage. All he had to do was look to the check down, running the opposite way across the field right in front of the free safety. Somebody busted coverage in the secondary for Tampa, and he could have caught the ball and walked in untouched. Yet, that's what happens sometimes. There's a lot of things going if you're the quarterback. You can't see everything, and he just missed one.
That play used 6 seconds, so 12 ticks left in the first half. Run a ball, looking left again. Has a man, Marco Thomas, 4 hands on the ball, and it's intercepted. And a touchback.
It's a bad call. The ball hit the ground, I believe. And I think that'll be challenged and overturned. Nice play by the defensive back, clearly, but that ball to me looked like it hit the ground.
Tim Shelley on defense against Marco Thomas. And let's see, there's a red flag, a challenge flag by Clint Dozell.
Well, here's the replay. Right there, Thomas looked like he had the football, but Joe, you made a good point. That ball hit the ground, but Thomas had the football. So now the question is,
touchdown?
Are they going to give Thomas the touchdown? Because watch the replay here. Now, Dan, he threw in the double coverage again. He got away with it here. Now, Thomas makes a heck of a catch. It looks like he has possession, but the ball on the other angle showed that it hit the ground. So I think it's going to be ruled an incomplete pass.
And I'll say this. I don't think that should be a TD because while he had possession for that period of time, to me it was joint possession.
Yeah,
It wasn't his possession. They both had their hands on it, but to me it was not established that Thomas had it himself alone.
So Dave Kutea, the referee of this crew, will go to the far corner where there's a 50-inch monitor set up, and he'll watch our replay from the Arena Vision crew that we are co-opting this production with today and see what he can see. Clearly the ball hit the ground. I think an incompletion at the very least will be the result here.
And I think that, talking about Super Bowls, Joe, on that catch, was it very similar to a Super Bowl catch by the Giants? Who was that? Remember? We talked about the receiver for that?
I do remember. That was
when he caught it on his he became a national phenom.
Guy that barely never played again.
Yeah, he barely never played again. Right. Eli scrambled, threw the ball down the field, and he caught it on his helmet.
Help us out.
Oh, right, for the Super Bowl play.
Yeah, exactly right. He was the. And I'm
Well, you're sharp tonight, Bill.
Thank you, sir. Well, now that one. Now the only problem is there was a little bit more traffic, and the other one they had an all-pro free safety trying to knock his head off in the Super Bowl.
Sure
Remember
did.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, and in this play here, he had it. He looked like he had possession. He just could not bring it in.
Let me reset the implications here. If it's an incompletion, the Soul will have the ball at the 22 of Tampa and another shot at it with just 3 seconds left. If it's ruled a Soul touchdown, which is maybe a long shot, they'll have a chance to tie it before the half. Otherwise, Tampa, if the call stands, would have the ball with 3 seconds left.
And it looks like Clint Dalzell's getting ready, if the Soul win the challenge here, to kick a field goal to try to make it a 4-point play before the end of the half.
I think you're right there. And speaking of halftime, Lou, I think we are safe. Nobody else is safe in this building at halftime when they get in there with that head coach, Coach Hozell. And I'm telling you right now.
Jaws may pop in for a little pep talk at the half. Speaking of which, Tommy Freevert, the field goal kicker, 4 of 6 on the season, which is exceptional with these goalposts, which are only 8 feet across. I see Dave Kutea down there. He's still looking at the monitor, so he's not quite ready to make his call.
Well, I think we covered it when we saw those replays. The question's going to be Lou, and you're going to see here we are now. We're looking around trying to figure this out. But the question is, does the referee is he able to is there a possession? That's the key. Is it possession? And I think we all agree that it's probably incomplete pass.
I'm shocked, Billy, it's taken this long. I mean, to me,
this is what sports class. You would love to be on the radio right now, right? People would be blowing up your line. You could talk about this forever.
Yeah, to me, that was pretty clear cut. No,
Here they come. Here they come right now.
The ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass.
There we go.
We could have told him that 5 minutes ago.
And we did.
Second and 10.
When we start our new league in China, by the way, I intend to referee from the control room.
Oh, that's
just to keep things moving.
That's gonna add at least 5 more subscribers in Japan, at least if that happens.
Especially since we'll be in China. Did I say Japan?
No, Billy said
Billy
Japan.
I just wanted to see if you were paying
Blue
attention over there.
Now, guys, we expect a field goal here from Freevert attempt. Listen, we've seen Clint Dalzell very unhappy at various points tonight for obvious reasons. It is worth restating the significance of this game for the Soul. They're going to make the playoffs no matter what. They can clinch a playoff berth this weekend, one way or the other, whether it's this weekend or soon thereafter. They're going to clinch a playoff berth. But, when you see Jaws there, you see an owner that's aware of the implications. Remember, for the audience that doesn't know, the team that has the best record in the regular season, if they advance all the way to the Arena Bowl, gets to host the Arena Bowl. I mean, the Arena Bowl in about 2 months could be right here in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Right now, the Soul have 2 losses. The SaberCats in the other conference with only 1 loss. So it is critical for the Soul to not have to go on the road in the Arena Bowl. We think the Soul have a legitimate shot of getting to that game.
Right.
Critical to have the advantage to win this game
and the Rattlers,
to keep the push on.
The Rattlers, Arizona, perennial contenders with 2.
Exactly.
This will be a field goal of 30 plus 8, about 38 yards, and would be a season long for Freevert, who is 4 of 6, which is exceptional, as I was mentioning, in the Arena League game.
Yep, and as for the viewers out there on the Comcast network as well as ESPN3, which we're broadcasting live, this is a little different of a field goal. It's not like the outdoor game where it's you got the wide goalposts and you're 10 yards up. This is not a chip shot. Where in the outdoor game this would be considered basically a chip shot.
So a long delay to check the clock as well, but we're ready to play.
But I think they got it right. That's the key. With that long delay, if they didn't get it right, it'd be another thing. They did get it right.
They'll mark it at the 20, so it's 30 yards to the goal line and then 8 yards deep after that. 38-yarder from the right hash mark, such as it is. This should be the last play of the first half. McDaniel's the holder. It's down. Freevert hits it well, and off the left netting. That's a live ball. Tampa with a return. all the way down to the 15-yard line, and a flag flies, so we're not quite done. Hold it here for a second.
And he's hurt. Now, if he would have stayed to his right, you would have put the fight song. That would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, Rick Hill is down, and we got to see if this is an offensive or defensive penalty. Obviously, if it's a defensive penalty, meaning on the sole,
right,
the Storm would have one free play untimed,
right. Yep.
Which could be a field goal.
Could be.
Or an attempt into the end zone.
That's right.
Now the Soul are.
Wait. Look, how about the rookie in here talking about strategy already? How about that, Lou?
The rookie.
This is the rookie in the booth, his first arena game, and look, he was on top of that. It was like you were waiting for that. You have your own stat man behind him.
Joe studies.
He's unbelievable.
Billy. You know how many hours do you do every night, Joe? 4?
4 hours.
4 hours
every night on
you
the Fanatic.
can't do 4 hours of sports talk in this town without doing what, 8 hours to prep?
Well, especially with what it does take away. Yeah, I would say on a typical day, maybe 3-4 hours.
And I told the rookie that Joe. I told Joe that, and Lou, you tell me if I'm right. I told him probably about 95% of your prep work you don't even use for the game.
Well, exactly.
You don't want to crazy, right, Lou? When you think about how much time you put in.
Right, the proverbial caught with their pants down. And when you do sports radio in this town, where everyone arguably knows more than you do. You don't want to get caught unaware.
Well, here's when you know things are wacky in sports radio. When the 76ers, as they did on Thursday night, take the best player available.
Yeah, that was the T-ball for you. Well
and
done.
75% of the town reacts negatively.
Right.
You know there's something a little out.
Lots in the back.
Now,
those fouls offset and the half is over.
Oh, wow.
Half is over. We'll come back to plug Joe's show right after this, and we'll be back with our halftime. We'll be talking with Cosmo Denicola. Joe and Bill will analyze the first half of play, and we'll answer your question, your beef of the week, when we come back from the Wells Fargo Center. We'll take a break. We're at the half. It is Tampa Bay 21, the Soul 14.
This Soul game is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Dynasty Sports Group. DraftKings. Play daily fantasy sports for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of the Philadelphia Soul. Enter promo code SOUL for free entry. The Judge Group, providing people-powered business solutions for over 45 years. Pro Systems, one of Philadelphia's finest audio, video, and lighting contracting firms. Rothman Institute, the exclusive orthopedic provider of the Philadelphia Soul. Hyundai, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Lankenau Medical Center is the leader in sports medicine and the official healthcare provider of the Philadelphia Soul. And Lou Tilley Media, your one-stop shop for full creative media, PR, and broadcasting services nationwide.
Soul's next home game comes up on the afternoon of Saturday, July the 11th, as they take on their arch rivals, the Cleveland Gladiators, and it's also Military Appreciation Night, and the Wheelchair Warriors will be in action. Our Warriors in the booth tonight. I'm Lou Tilley along with Joe DeCamera and Bill Osborne. And Soul will get the ball to start the second half. Big drive, to say the least, for the guys.
Yeah, they got to come out and they got to hold serve. And if you ask me, Lou and Joe, the key in this second half is going to be the play of the quarterback for the Soul, Rodaball. My opinion, that was a subpar half for him. And now the stats don't really show it, but from looking up here, watching him run the offense, I think he made a lot of bad decisions, and it cost the Soul on a couple possessions. So let's see how he reacts coming out here at halftime, because if the Soul are going to get back in this game, he's got to play better.
So unusual, too, for him this year. You know, atop the leaderboard of most of these statistical categories and a legit MVP candidate. Just a unusual performance so far from Rodaball, considering the standard he's had all year.
Well, if you look at the stats, they're not bad, too. 13 to 23, 118, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But I just think, and I guess if you ask the coach, too, I think he just made a lot of bad decisions, and it put his team in a lot of third and fourth and long situations.
Billy, when you were playing for Pittsburgh in '87, did you play some defense as well?
I did. I played the over top. I played free safety.
Wow.
Yep. And had a couple interceptions, and
the true Iron Man days.
I gave a lot of cushion, 30 yards on each play.
Romaine takes it off the netting and brings it out only to the 1 or 2 yard line. That's where Rodaball and his offense will take possession.
In all seriousness, what I just said is I just said to myself, I'm never going to get beat deep. If they're going to beat me, you know, they're going to have to go over top. So I would come up and try and make tackles. Now, of course, as you got closer to the goal line, you couldn't do that. But in the middle of the field,
backpedal into the Three
yep,
Rivers.
Exactly. I would just keep backpedaling, and you're going to go.
So you got wet.
Right. Exactly.
You play in the old Igloo back then?
We sure did.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Remember what's that? Remember that basketball movie that they filmed there? Remember that?
Oh, with the doc.
The doctor.
Doc.
The fish
that
saved
saved
Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Oh man.
I always thought about that. I'm like, wow, the actual roof opens up.
I remember.
Yep.
Well, you look good for your age. Rodaball over the middle, has a wide open Ryan McDaniel, almost breaks a tackle and gets across midfield. 26-yard gain.
Well, big play there, and also good, you know, not just for get the ball halfway down the field, but for McDaniel to get involved. Such an important player for the Soul so far this season, and only 3 catches up until this point before that play for 29 yards. And again, we got to frame it. SK out of the game here, you know, not playing tonight. So big emphasis on Thomas McDaniel.
Right, so and on that play, you can see right there, he looked down to the short side of the field. Everybody ran stop routes to the outside, and he had Rodaball Soul, McDaniel coming on the backside, man-to-man coverage, hit him in stride for a first down.
Last time these two teams met at this point in the game was 34-0 Soul.
That's got to be a penalty. Yep.
McDaniel grabbed from behind, I think. Defensive holding is the likely call here.
Well, I like the way the Soul, they're coming out firing now, and Tampa Bay's coming out playing man-to-man. They're going to say, you're going to play man-to-man against us? We're going to come out and we're going to fire. We're going to go down the field. Again, they got McDaniel singled up on the outside, and Rodaball found him.
Defense number 26. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Randall Burton with a little tug on the jersey from behind.
When you see that, Billy, 2 plays right out of the chute, same receiver attacking that side of the field, it seems very strategic.
Yeah, no doubt. They had the eye in the sky. Very good point, Joe. So they came out and are saying, you know, we can go after this guy. Let's get this formation. We know we're going to get this defense. Let's attack it. That's a great job. Their formation in the death. They know before the ball snapped where they're going.
3 receivers to the right side this time for Rodaball. Throws to the slot man, has a man down inside the 3. First and goal, Soul.
Great point, Lou. You pointed that out. 3 receivers to the one side of the field. And what they did is they ran Rodaball in. He ran right off the free safety, and there was a little bit of a busted coverage. Great job delivering the football to the open man. That's a long way to go for the free safety who was in the middle of the field. Has to come all the way to the wide side of the field to make that play and make that tackle.
Taggart, the fullback, is a legitimate run threat. In the first matchup down in Tampa Bay, the fullback ran for 3 touchdowns. It was Gooseby that night. But this time it's the flip to McDaniel, and he'll walk it into the end zone. Ryan McDaniel, the touchdown, the extra point, and the Soul will be tied for the first time all night.
Well, that's, Lou, what we've been seeing this year. That right there, that drive is indicative of the kind of efficiency the Soul have had offensively throughout the season, but had not had during the first half tonight.
And that is what I would think, as you pointed out, Joe, that right there is coaching came in and said, here's how we're going to attack. If you saw this, every play there was guys running wide open, and that was because they understood what they were going to get from a defensive look, depending on what they were going to run as far as an offensive look. They took advantage of it. They coached the guys up, and Rodaball delivered the ball excellently the whole series, 4 plays and a touchdown.
And Freeberg's extra point is good. For the first time tonight, Clint Dozel and the Philadelphia Soul have drawn even with the Tampa Bay Storm. It's the Philadelphia Soul 21, Tampa 21, with 11:50 to play in the third quarter here at the Wells Fargo Center. Nice opening drive, guys.
Joe made a good point, too, and that's exactly right. It is a key that they came out with formations.
We're going to try something a little different right now. Hello, those of you
fans,
listening here in the Wells Fargo
Right now I am
Center.
joined by an NFL star, but not only is an NFL star, he is part owner of your Philadelphia Soul. Make some noise for Marcus Colston, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus, how did you get involved with the Soul? I mean, this is an amazing organization. How did you get involved with the Soul?
Just have been kind of hanging around indoor football for a few years and made some relationships, and the opportunity presented itself last fall and just jumped at it.
What do you think about the arena football game?
I mean, it's fast, and as an offensive guy, it's a ton of points, so you got to love that.
10th year this year in the NFL, 7th round draft pick. Those things don't go together. What's the secret to your success?
I mean, really, it's being in the right place at the right time and just being prepared for the opportunity when it presented itself.
You guys feeling the Super Bowl this year?
I know I shouldn't say it in here, but of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, co-owner of your Philadelphia Soul, NFL star, Marcus Colston.
Nice job, Jason. We tried something a little different here. We had our sideline interview live in the arena at the same time. Have you guys ever looked at Marcus Colston's statistics for his career?
He's unbelievable.
He might be borderline for the big haul someday. He's had 8,000-yard seasons in his career already.
And it's unbelievable. And for as good statistically he is, if you get to know the guy, he's a better person.
Yeah.
He is all class. And the Soul are lucky to have him in their ownership group.
Part of the Soul ownership group, Marcus was the owner of the team, Joe, in Harrisburg for a couple of years, which is now out of business, but has come over here. He's very interested in sports entrepreneurship when he does hang them up with the New Orleans Saints. But who knows how long that will be.
Well, we don't. I mean, obviously a few more years, as long as he's healthy, he should be able to go 3 or 4 or 5 more years. We'll see. He's been a fantastic player. One of the things, Lou, that, as you know, there's a really eclectic and interesting, I would say, frankly, fascinating group of ownerships all around the arena.
Don't I know it? Yeah.
I mean, you got the ownership group here in Philadelphia that we know so well, Ron Jaworski and so many others. But, how about Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay, one of their owners is an NFL Hall of Famer, the great linebacker Derek Brooks, who, Billy, Derek Brooks was just a sensational linebacker.
He was, and I love watching some of those old clips about him and in the locker room and some of those things on ESPN, and unbelievable player.
And the ownership group with Vanek and Lewicki, that would have been a lateral, by the way, also owned the Tampa Bay Lightning, which won the Stanley Cup, of course, in 2004. They were back in there this year, so it's a very professional organization. They play in a great arena, and they've done very well at the gate.
Well, I think that the Arena Football League, has to think out of the box. I mean, obviously it's a whole different league, and you do need things to get people interested in this offseason when you think about for the outdoor game. And ownership is important. Look when Bon Jovi was here. We had a lot of interest with the Soul strictly because of him.
So for the first time, Tampa Bay, since the opening drive, he's sacked in the end zone. Brian Robinson would not be denied. Has a safety for the Philadelphia Soul. What a way. Look at Derek Stingley down there, the defensive coach. He's throwing his hat down. He's high-fiving Jaws, and they have really come out after the break on a charge.
Well, that's what you call timing up the snap count. Now, that's the fault of the quarterback. You are not supposed to allow that defensive lineman to jump the snap count. You have to hesitate. You have to sit in there. Your offensive lineman had no chance. They weren't even out of their stance, Lou, and he got right past them.
Play of the game without question at this point, clearly by Brian Robinson, and not just individually, literally puts the Soul up now 23-21. Absolutely huge play.
Well, hey, Lou, remember we were sitting here a couple, it seemed like, it was in the half. They were down by 2 scores, and I think you asked Joe and I the question, wow, down 2 scores, what do they got to do? And Joe and I both said, listen, you're not going to be able to score 2 touchdowns in one series. They got to go out, they got to score, then they got to go out and play good defense, and then my goodness, they scored. Then they got the onside kick, and they didn't get it, but then they got the stop on defense. Then they get the score when they get the ball back, and now they start the second half with a safety.
Joe, you're single.
Hey, whoa, so am I.
So are you. Oh, wait a minute, so am I. What the hell am I talking about?
Hey, Leo, take over. We're gone. We're doing the press box. We're going to do this game from down there.
I'm gonna do my LeBron right now when we see 6 or 7. I'm going to say not 1, not 2, not 3.
Gee, all 3 of us. We could be the 3 Musketeers tonight if we go out in the town.
That's right. Let's go. And, of course, we said Leo, and people are like, who the heck is Leo? Well, that's our producer.
Leo is too, come to think of it.
That's right, Leo. So Leo's our producer, and, of course, Jeff is our associate producer. All these guys, they do a great job up here.
How about that? The Soul come out, score on their opening possession to tie it. 1 play later, Brian Robinson with a solo sack in the end zone. The Soul lead at 23-21 and now get the ball back on the kick.
One of the things I really enjoy about the Arena League guys, and Billy, you touched on it after the safety, Derek Stingley with his emotion.
Yeah.
And in the Arena League, you see it on the field.
Yeah.
It's not hidden behind 53 guys on an NFL sideline. You see it right there, and he was really fired up.
Romaine tries to keep it going. Has yardage to the 10, the 15, cuts back, and the Soul will have excellent field position as Rodabal brings his offensive unit back onto the floor with a lead for the first time tonight.
And for those of you listening, we're talking about Stingley. Yes, he is the son of the great New England Patriot, who
Darryl Stingley,
who of course had that unfortunate accident and was paralyzed, and his son. It's ironic that he decided to stay in football, the game the thing that hurt his dad tremendously in his life. But he's done a great job here coaching, and if you talk to Ron Jaworski, he thinks he's going to be an NFL coach one day.
How about that? Brought a ball to the air, looks long. Oh, had a receiver. Binford had it and took his eye off it. That's probably one of the defining moments of NFL history. It was a preseason game between the Oakland Raiders and the New England Patriots when Jack Tatum really leveled Stingley, put him in a wheelchair, and his life was never the same until he died. When I worked at WBZ in Boston, I got the chance to visit with Darryl and get to know him a little bit.
Yep.
What an exceptional guy. Never had a bad word or held a grudge, if you want to say. Tatum, meanwhile, has never really backed off his stance that it was a clean hit. He's still writing books about it.
Yep.
And look how much we've changed in the game and the way we think about things since. Water ball far sideline. Has a wide open receiver. McDaniel turns on the Jets down to the 15. The Soul have some rhythm.
Well, let me ask you a question, Billy. We were talking about Vices earlier and the helmet you had while we're on that topic.
Yep.
How difficult is it to break through all the leagues to get what you believe is better technology onto the heads of the players?
Well, that's a great question, and it is difficult. I think the great thing is that now is a time. It's really, really out there that concussions are such a big part of this game, and what can we do from a safety perspective? Because we're losing kids every single day in the youth leagues, which they feed the NFL and the great players that we have. So it's tough to get a helmet out there, but I will say this. When you show them the data, everybody now is very much looking at it, and they're saying, hey, give us more, because we want to make the game safer. So it's tough that you're not one of the big guys, but if you show some data, they're going to get behind you because they want to make the game safer too.
Vices was one of our sponsors of this past year's Maxwell Football Club Awards, Joe. As you know, we were all part of the program this year, and Vices will be giving out an award beginning next year as part of the Maxwell portfolio for safety in the sport.
Yep, and that's spelled VICIS, and our website is www.vices.co.
Second down from the 15. Brought a ball to the middle. This one was nearly picked off, but falls incomplete. Nice play by the Jack linebacker, Rick Hill. No, Rick Hill is out of the game right now. Was injured at the end of the first half. That's Gregory? Is that? No, Griori in there playing the fill-in as the Jack linebacker right now.
And there's Coach Dozell talking to Ball. And in that situation right there, what you got to do if you're the quarterback, it's tough, but you got to look off. You can't eyeball the receiver because that gives the linebackers a clear vision of where you're going to throw the football, and they were able to time it up and knock it down.
Soul just 1 for 4 on third down conversions. Here's another. McDaniel, the motion man. They throw underneath. Taggart has it, the fullback. Nice grab, and looks like he has a first down inside the 5.
Well, again, they've come out here in the second half, and they must have gotten like 10, 15 plays that they said this will work in the second half because, again, they put a great formation in. They had 2 receivers down below. They had the third receiver run off on the front side, and then were able to slip the running back out of the backfield wide open. A great touch pass, too, by Rattleball.
Yeah, Billy, you could see that pre-snap.
Yes, you could.
See that coming.
We told you Taggart, the fullback, which is normally a glorified offensive lineman in Arena Bowl. Not so under Clint Dozell here in Philadelphia. He's an athlete, and you saw it there from Taggart. This time McDaniel will take the end around, got a block from Thomas, and then is hammered right in front of Ron Jaworski at the 5-yard line.
It's so tough to run side to side like that instead of north to south and east to west when you're down there in the red zone. Lou, as you know, as a linebacker, you're just scraping. And where they handed that football off to McDaniel, he was actually on the other side of the quarterback. So he had to get the ball, then go behind the center, and then try and get to the outside. There's just not enough room.
The angles aren't there. It'll bring up second down and goal from the 4.
But now they have the wide side of the field to the left. So now they're going to see what they can do with this with a lot of field.
Lonnie Outlaw's in there at wide receiver, bottom of your screen. Big target, 6'6", 220. And that's Thomas cutting inside him. Flags fly. There was motion by Outlaw. It'll be offsides on the Soul.
Yeah, Outlaw usually brought in around this area.
Yep. They got number 4, the receiver, actually moving.
Yeah, that's Outlaw.
Yep.
When Thomas came past him, it seemed to distract him. He came out of his stance.
Good point, yep.
So the second and goal, we'll repeat it, but we'll back it up 5 yards to the 9-yard line. The Soul trailed 21-14 at the half. They scored on their opening drive of the third quarter, and then Brian Robinson with a safety gave the ball back to the Soul. So they're trying to make it, 16 points in a row. Ball pauses, throws over the middle and has a man. And Lonnie Outlaw makes up for it by grabbing his 6th touchdown of the season.
Well, he's a heck of a red zone target. There's no question. He's playing more tonight because SK's out, but typically this is his game. He comes in when the ball's around the 10-yard line inside, and those are the plays he makes, Lou. He's been doing it, especially the last couple of weeks.
Well, when you look at the replay right there, great job by the offensive line. I mean, Ball was able to go back. There was nobody at his feet. There was nobody in his vision at all. He was able to go back, go through his progressions on the front side, and then it's just a little touch pass to the big guy for 6.
He is a big target, 6'6", 225 pounds. Freevert has missed none. Perfect on his conversions, missed a field goal, but the Soul have charged back, trailing 21-14 at the break, 4:31 to go in the third. It's the Soul 30, Tampa Bay 21. Philadelphia Soul on the Comcast Network is brought to you again by the Pennsylvania Lottery. To check the latest jackpots, go to www.palottery.com. The Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians. Lou Tilley along with Joe DeCamara and Billy Osborne, and the Soul have come back to take the lead, Joe.
It's time for, if you're a Storm fan, which certainly we are not, but for their quarterback, Jason Boltus, and their offense to pick it up. It's incredible. Here we are, more than halfway through the third quarter. Boltus with only 5 completions. I mean, think about that.
And really, this will be his only 2nd touch of the game, of the third quarter, pardon me.
Yep.
The Soul opened up with the ball, drove the length of field for a touchdown, and on Boltus' next touch from inside his 5-yard line, he was sacked for a safety by Brian Robinson. The Soul got the ball back, scored a touchdown, 16 consecutive points. They lead it 30-21 as Freevert will kick it away.
And it's certainly worth mentioning, even though the Soul did not finish the first half with a score, the missed field goal and all that, once again, Clint Dalzell, the way he managed it.
Well, talk about, speaking of which, Clint Dalzell, always thinking a step ahead, goes right away for the jugular. Keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going, went for the onside kick.
But to that end of that first half point, the way he managed it, even though it didn't result in a score, it also didn't result, other than the final play being an interception. It didn't, or a kickoff.
You mean back at the end of the first half?
Yeah, in the first half, a missed field goal that was caught off the net. It didn't result in an offensive possession for Tampa Bay. And that's one thing Clint has done so well this year. To take the half down.
Yeah, he's the best at that.
He's fantastic.
They burned the last 3 minutes of clock in the first half.
And speaking of Clint, as you could watch him coming off, nobody escapes his wrath. He went right to the kicker and basically was like, "What kind of onside kick was that?" It was great. He went after the kicker.
Justin Lawrence, the nose tackle, I don't know if you call it elevating. He's playing the MAC linebacker tonight, but he knocks that pass down out of the line of scrimmage.
He had some ups.
A little bit of hop.
There's the big fella. I mean, when he comes down, though, it is not good if you're the floor right below him. That's for sure.
6'2", 310 pounds out of Morgan State, just down the road in Balmer.
A lot of batted balls tonight. Both teams getting their hands up.
Good point.
Second down. The last time that the Soul failed on the onside kick, they were able to hold on their goal line. And here's Romaine. They're going to call that a clean swat away by James Romaine on the goal line play.
That's a heck of a play by Romaine right there. Again, playing the position, you have to understand, Kendrick Higgs, he's got to do a better job of giving his quarterback a lane to throw that football. He ran a stick route. He basically just ran out there and made a left-hand turn. You got to go out there. You got to threaten the deep free safety, and then you got to make your break.
Ings is only 19 years old, guys. He came right to the pros from high school. And not targeted that time, but the ball falls incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th down. Looking for Julius Gregory. Good coverage by the Soul again.
To go back to that play by James Romaine, that is exactly the type of play, and he's been making it all year. Yep. The exact type of play that is catching the eyes of NFL scouts.
Yep.
I mean, that is a very impressive pass defense.
Absolutely. He's able to stay over top, and he's not afraid either. You notice that, Joe? And you got to have, as we said, short-term memory. He's gotten beat a couple times, but he never backs down. He stays aggressive, and that's the key of a great DB.
4th down. Good point. And they can pick up a 1st down inside the 4, but it's 4th and 10. They're 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions. Boltus looks to the end zone, fires, touchdown, Tampa Bay. Julius Gregory breaks the drought.
Well, that was just a double slant route. They tried initially to go over top. Again, they had one-on-one coverage with Ings and Romaine. Romaine did a tremendous job of covering the first receiver down the field, but then they brought the second receiver, number 2, Gregory, right underneath, and he was wide open. And again, he beat Richardson on that. You could call it a dig route or a skinny post, but a great job of scheming by the Tampa Bay Storm. And I guarantee you, coming off the field, the coaches are saying you need to get pressure on the quarterback.
And the conversion is up and good with the point. Tampa Bay back in this thing. We'll take a break ourselves with 1:30 to go in the third from the Wells Fargo Center. The score: Seoul 30, Storm 28. In reference to the 3 bachelors in the booth, filling in is Billy Osborne and Joe DeCamera tonight for Tom Goodhines. He's single too.
Holy mackerel! Look, I'm getting ready. I'm trying to do production here. I got whatever this is here. This is our little screen here. We have
That's
our little
our
light
light.
right there.
Thank you,
our
Bill.
light. What that is. It looks good. We're doing everything up here. It looks great.
Way to divert attention away, Bill.
Absolutely. I
that's
saw
well
it right
done.
there. Yeah,
That's
awesome.
the word train wreck comes to mind.
But they would never know that if we didn't tell them. They can't see behind the
And
scenes.
you did.
And we
And
did.
you did. You've taken the behind the curtain.
Full transparency.
There's
Full
nothing to
transparency.
see here.
Exactly.
On the field, guys. Let's get back to that. The Soul with a strong comeback here, and Joe, they've turned things around. But give Tampa Bay some credit for answering all that Soul momentum, that 16-0 run.
Yeah, showing some fight there. We talked about entering that possession, the need for Jason Boltus and his offense to step up. For that possession, they did. Guys, look, minute 30 to go here in the third quarter, 30-28. We have a great football game tonight.
This is the kind of contest I like to see in arena ball.
Yeah.
It's not one of those 72-65 things where
Yeah.
everybody scores. We're playing real good defensive strategy football tonight as well. And that one through the uprights, not being returnable by Romaine, so Dan Rodaball will have the length of the field to go. After a slow first half, boy, Dan looks sharp.
Yes, he does.
Last 2 times with the ball.
There's no doubt he got in his grill at halftime, and whatever it was, he's coming out and he is slinging the football and he's doing it accurately. He's you can see every throw is in stride. He's making great decisions, and I think a lot of that's also the fact that they're scheming really, really good. And Joe pointed that out when they came out. They have a couple plays and they're going after them. It'll be interesting to see now, because now those first couple plays, I'm sure they had scripted here in the second half. Now it'll be interesting to see what their offense does here, kind of in the wide open set.
Rodaball will start from his 5. McDaniels, the man in motion, and has it, and then lost it, and maybe he heard footsteps.
You know what? If you're Coach Dozell, look at him up in the top of the screen. He's talking to his receiver, and I understand what he's saying. That was a route. He kind of. Did you see it, Lou? It didn't even look like he thought he was going to get the football.
Yeah, like he didn't expect it.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
was jogging in his route, and he came out of his route, kind of rounded it. He never thought that Dan was going to throw him the football.
I'd never like to lay this on him, but it brought Ricky Waters to mind for a second. And Ricky's probably watching, by the way. Makes his home in Tampa right now, and he knows I love him.
Well
Joe
played.
shaking his head.
Well played, Lou.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, Ricky's a great guy. There's no question.
Rodaball looks long, has a man. Marco Thomas, touchdown Soul. 45 yards, Rodaball to Thomas.
Looked easy, Billy. I mean, you see Thomas get that far behind the defender. Unbelievable.
Busted coverage. The Soul did a great job. You can see right there. Well, you can see it right here. Look how Dan looks off to the front side. He holds the free safety in the middle of the field, but down on the backside where there was a 2-receiver route. See how Dan looks to the left?
Yeah.
Just to hold the free safety just a tad.
Good call.
Because he knew he had somebody wide open. There was a busted coverage. They had one DB playing zone and the other DB playing man, and the guy who was supposed to play man, he got, he guessed and he had a wide open receiver. As you said, when a guy goes that open in arena football, it's obviously a busted coverage.
Thomas quietly with 7 catches now for 97 yards.
Well, they came on in the second quarter after a slow first quarter, started up in the second.
And as we come to the end of the third quarter, what a quarter it was for the Soul. They score 23 points to Tampa 7. We'll go to the break. The score now, Philadelphia 37, Tampa Bay 28. Father's Day has just gone by. I'm happy to say that my brothers and sisters and I got to spend one more with our dad, Lou Tilley Sr. We'll remember it forever. Big Lou passed away on Monday, just hours before his 80th birthday, with all 6 of his children holding him. after a furious and courageous 4-week battle in which a staph infection attacked his heart, lungs, spine, and kidneys until Dad said enough. I know a lot of you in the Philadelphia area got to know him, and he was at my side for much of my playing and broadcasting career, as he was with all his kids and grandkids. You know, he was a standout 3-sport star at Frankfurt High School. Football was his game, though. He played for a bit at Temple before launching a long business career and then shepherding 6 pretty special kids and now 12 terrific grandkids through life. He was, above all, a man's man. Very smart, very well-mannered, and articulate. He would have made a great anchor man. But above all, he loved us all. Louis John Tilley follows his bride of 50 years to a reunion in heaven just 8 weeks after her passing. Love you, Dad. From all of us to you. Happy Father's Day.
Said unbelievably, Lou, and our thoughts and prayers go out to you and the Tilley family from everyone here in the booth. And you know, you've been an inspiration, and you've had a tough couple go here with losing your mom not too long ago, then losing your pop, and just want to let you know that our thoughts and prayers are with you and the family.
Without question, Lou. I certainly echo Billy's sentiments. We're all with you, and really, truly, our deepest condolences to you and your family.
Thank you, guys.
And somehow now you have to go on, which is not easy, buddy.
Yeah, it's what he would want, though.
Yep.
I mean, he was talking football with me. All 3 of my brothers are independent businessmen, and
yep.
on one of the last nights of his life, he sat and talked marketing strategies with us, and was very interested. And loved you guys. He was a very active. He analyzed all the sports radio talk shows, and was my toughest critic, as you can imagine, Joe.
What was his? I got 2 questions for you. What was his favorite team, and then also give me a story from when you were playing at Wake Forest. I can only imagine.
Well, the Eagles, of course. But back in my days in high school, Bill, one time we were playing at Lincoln High School, and we were getting our butts handed to us. And I was just a junior, skinny wide receiver at the time, and we were down by 4 scores. And my quarterback kind of hung me out to dry on a sideline play, and I got clobbered from behind and got knocked out cold. And when I woke up, there was a fracas all around me, and it wasn't my teammates punching the guy from the other team. It was my dad who jumped over the fence.
Oh, I love it. Now we know where you get your little feistiness from, too.
That's good.
That's a great story.
Tampa trying to stay in this one and engineer the upset. Loading long is Boltus, and just a little too far, and had a man wide open, guys.
Absolutely had him, Billy. There's no question. That's a pass you got to complete. If you're Boltus, you're down 9. It's the 4th quarter. You got to complete that pass.
Well, they're showing Romaine there on the screen. If they get a replay, you'll see he got very lucky, because what he did is he guessed, and he stopped his back pedal, and he got caught in no man's land, and the receiver made a little jab, Lou. It looked like he was going to run an out route, and he just kept going right down the field. And again, Romaine got caught guessing on an out route, and fortunately for the Soul, the ball was overthrown.
A lot of time left here. We're just underway in the 4th quarter from Philadelphia, where the Soul have come back down 2 scores at one point to take a 9-point lead on Tampa Bay. Is that ball picked off? Yes, it was. The interception by Philadelphia. And it's Kent Richardson, number 1, 6 foot, 200 pounds, out of West Virginia University, coming up with his 4th pick of the season.
And Joe, if you remember what I said before when they scored, I said, I guarantee you when they come off to the sideline, the coach is going to say, you need to get more pressure. Well, here it is, coming right in your living room. Good shot here by the guys in the truck. Great job of flushing the quarterback out of the pocket. He had to go to his left, throwing across his body, and then an interception. Big play.
So the Soul with a chance to go up by 3 scores. We'll take this break and be right back on the Comcast Network.
Sorry, Joe, I was trying to get...
A big turn of events. The Soul with a safety in the 3rd quarter that gave them their first lead of the game, and now an interception by Kent Richardson near midfield. And Dan Rodabaugh comes back on, and guys, it's been all Soul since the break.
Well, they've certainly assumed control. I mean, that's the bottom line, 37-28. Soul with the ball, up 9. This is the kind of game you want to take home now. I'm not saying don't keep pedal to the metal, but one way or the other, you got to find a way to take this game home.
23-7, Soul winning since the break. Rodabaugh under pressure, lobs it up, and McDaniel can't quite get there. Dan had to throw that sort of off the back foot. I don't even know if he was looking to McDaniel. He was under heavy pressure.
Well, he was wide open, and to your point, and Joe, what you said, if you ask me, the defense has really catapulted this second half in there. They really are the ones that have gotten this Soul team going here in the second half, and the offense has responded. And right there, you don't get too many of those. They got him in man-to-man coverage, little post corner move, wide open. Dan just missed him.
A lot of pressure up front, though, on that play. I mean,
that's tough.
There were some guys coming in on him.
Good camera work there.
Yeah, I love that camera work. Can we go back to that angle?
Whistle blows so Bill can see the replay.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan McDaniel moved.
Number 19, 5-yard penalty.
These are the kinds of things that drive Clint crazy.
Oh,
And
my
this
gosh.
Hall of Famer at quarterback in his great career.
And you know why, Lou, it drives him crazy? Because he's such he calls all the plays, right?
Yeah.
This is his offense. So it's like he knew before that ball was snapped that they were going to have a touchdown. He saw the defense. He knew he got the defense that he
Where
wanted.
he wanted it, yeah.
And now they had a penalty, and he was flipping out because not so much of the penalty, just because he knew he was going to have a score on that play.
Soul need to get it down to the 13 for a new set of downs. Brought him underneath. Nice completion to Marco Thomas. It's an unusual delivery he has there, Bill. You notice it, he uses it sometimes to that right-hand sideline where he almost falls away from the pass.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's backpedaling a little bit, and he's able to just get his ball across his body and throw it over there. It's not easy throwing across your body to a receiver coming from left to right. And, hey, sometimes it's not how, right? It's how many.
Looked like a little Bernie Kosar, a little
Yeah,
side
that's
arm.
exactly
that's what
right.
I meant,
Yep.
yeah.
That back in the old days, Lou, your back day, that's how the quarterbacks, didn't they do that? I mean, I know they had leather helmets too, but didn't they backpedal like that too?
They threw it with two hands.
Right, they threw it to hand. That's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah, especially when we played at Oklahoma and they didn't even have to throw it. And I'm not kidding.
Oh, it's funny you say that when you play. I remember I played baseball one time, and we're down at Florida State, and
Yeah, listen, let me interrupt here.
Go ahead.
Joe, do you realize that Bill was 3 varsity sports letterman, or 3 lettermen in the Big East?
That's awesome.
Can you
think about that.
pump that into the Soul cheerleading box down there? Can they hear that? All right, let's make sure they're listening. But we're playing Florida State, and this is the first time kids from Pittsburgh have seen the outside. I mean, it's the first time. They're like 27-4. Well, they beat us like 5-2, and you would have thought they lost 50-2. So the next game they came out and they beat us like by 4 touchdowns. So I know your feeling about Oklahoma.
Marco Thomas back on the scoreboard again. The Soul are on a roll. A tale of 2 halves tonight here at the Wells Fargo Center. This score was 21-14 Tampa Bay when we took a break. And since then, when the second half began, the Soul scored on their opening drive, then scored on a safety, got the ball back, scored again, and now with 9:55 to go, they lead at 43-28. Joe?
Well, a crowd jumping here, clearly. And this crowd knows what this game is. This is an opportunity to get one step closer to the playoffs, which the Soul can clinch the division with a Cleveland loss this weekend if it happens. And again, the push for home field advantage, really critical to keep the possibility alive. This game very important.
Extra point is up and good. The Soul trying to storm into the playoffs, have Tampa Bay on the ropes, 44-28. So much time left in this regular season. A couple of home games still ahead for the Soul. The next one after a bye week coming up Saturday, July 11th in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. Plenty of time for your evening entertainment as the Soul take on their arch rivals from Cleveland. Tickets at 888-789-SOUL or going online, PhiladelphiaSoul.com. And following the game, it's Military Appreciation Day. The Soul have been so active in this way in the last 3 years. The Wounded Warriors will come in and play a wheelchair football game against some of the area's celebrities, like Vince Papale. I know Blair Thomas is playing. Jaws is coaching. You guys ought to play. I mean, you guys are capable of playing. You're going to have your butts handed to you. I'm going to warn you right now. I've seen these guys play.
I remember I played with the Soul when they come down and play.
It's
in
not
our
wheelchair
flag
either.
football.
Did I see wheelchair? It's not wheelchair. It's the guys playing with the prosthetic legs, and it's just amazing what they can do.
Great
Really.
athletes.
Well, it's a great job by the Soul to honor them, but much more so than that, it's certainly there's a lot of wonderment and appreciation and honor of what the sacrifice those men and women have made.
Yeah,
I mean,
and to
it's
see that they still have
tremendous.
so much pride to battle through this, what do you want to call it? To get out there and relearn their bodies again, rebuild their bodies again. And wait till you see them play. I mean, it'll blow you away.
And you know, it's a great human story because, you know, a lot of times, even in regular day life, you think, oh, look, poor me, and here these guys don't use that as an excuse, and they are actually out there competing at a pretty high level.
Exactly. Tampa Bay barely beats the shot clock, and Boltis overthrows his receiver down inside the 5-yard line.
Another missed opportunity by Boltis. Not as open as some other shots tonight, but clearly another one where, you know, he can stick that in there. You know, we've seen that. And again, this is where, you know, I think it's important to sort of step back and talk about how key Dan Rodaball has been this year. Because when you see the level of performance he's had and then some of the other quarterbacks, you see the difference in teams.
Form holds, form shows in time. And you can see it happening here tonight, especially in the second half. Boltis over the middle and way overthrows his receiver. Romaine with good coverage again, and boy, the defense has taken control for the Soul.
Yep, and there's a great shot. You can see it right there coming out in your living room. But again, they were trying to pick in the middle of the field with Romaine. He does a great job when there's a lot of traffic in there. He does a great job of staying home and doing all that stuff. Sometimes where he gets in trouble is when he's in the middle of the field and guys are running go routes. He kind of stops his back pedal. But there's no question that he's got a lot of talent right there. And right now, you can see the cushion, Joe. Do you see the cushion? We're up by so many scores. He's like, you are not getting behind me. So there's no way that the inside receiver should get behind a free safety now with this score.
Jennings, Robinson, Patrick Scott getting some pressure, and as a result, Boltis throws it long again.
What a great job by Kent Richardson, Joe. You see him staying up on his upfield shoulder? I mean, great job now by this Soul secondary.
It'll bring up a 4th down, and the defense trying to force yet another turnover.
I mean, you get a stop here, it's pretty much over. This is when you have to talk about these scores. I know there's 7 minutes to go. Well, I should say if you get a stop and a score. And nothing's over in arena football, as we know, right, Lou?
That's right. 4th down, Foreman Mills. 4th down brought to you by Foreman Mills. That'll be 4th down and 10 yards for Boltis and the Tampa offense moving right to left in the white jerseys with the blue and yellow trim. Boltis has time, throws over the middle. It's complete, and I think he has yardage for the 1st down.
What a heck of a throw and catch. That is a great route. He got exactly what he needed. He pressed Romaine just enough to get that throwing lane in there, and that's a nice throw by Boltis, too. I know we talked about him in the open, Joe. Boy, he lasered that one in there, picked up the 1st down.
Barnett grabs it. Emery Salmons is out there most of the evening as a starter tonight. Boltis on a scramble, picks up 3 yards, but went into dangerous territory there. Runs into Patrick Scott and Joe Gooseby.
And again, no Bo Bell tonight in the middle there for the Soul.
He's missed a lot of time this year, Joe.
Yeah, yes, he's missed some games. But this is a fantastic defensive performance. I mean, here we are, 5 minutes, 53 seconds to go, and the Soul have only given up 28 points.
They gave up 27 in the most lopsided loss in Tampa Bay history back in Week 9. There's Emery Salmons, the former Soul wide receiver. Did he get the score? They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line.
You know, it's significant.
Way to jinx him, Joe.
Listen, let's look at the clock here. 5 minutes. He went down with about 5:38 or so to go. Now, they very well may get in, but just that tackle on the 1, you know, they're going to lose. You know, we'll see.
Yeah,
let's see how
lot of time.
Let's see how many, not just this play, but how many plays it takes them to get in. It could be a minute. It could be a 2-minute difference.
This drives me crazy. You'd think they'd be on the ball and calling the play at the line. Boltis is going to try and sneak it in, and, oh, well, yeah, that helps.
That legal, fellas?
I'll carry you, brother.
Well, not only did he carry him, he picked him up and he tackled him into the end zone.
Yeah. It's a little bit different than Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. But it had shades on
mackerel. Hardrick on the quarterback sneak. The quarterback Boltis gets held up at the line of scrimmage. If they have a replay, they're going to show number 50, Hardrick. He bear hugged him.
They're going to go for 2 here, Joe. Yeah, they're going to go for 2 down. 44-34 down 10.
I've watched a lot of football.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I've never seen that ever. I've played a lot of football, watched a lot of football, called a lot of football, and I may not played it very good, but I played it. I have never seen a guy get bear hugged and brought into the end zone like that.
Can't quite explain it. They'll go for 2. Throw it across the middle. Nice catch, and they pick it up. Gregory on the reception. The 2-point conversion is good. So we're still alive. Still a long way to go with 4:24 to go. The Soul lead it by just 8. Soul 44, Storm 36. Or did we say that it looked like the Soul could put the hammer in this thing, but the nail in it? 44-36, Tampa Bay right back in it.
Had the opportunity with the fourth down. If they could have stopped them, did not. Tampa Bay moves down the field.
Well, and you're right. And the Soul, we're talking about that, giving up points. They're 45 points a game, about third in the league. And now, so they're below their average. So the defense is playing well, but, there's still 4 minutes to go, and this is an eternity in arena football.
Have you noticed that ever since we let Bill handle the lighting over there, that he's the only one that looks good on camera now? Have you noticed that?
Well, speak for yourself, Lou.
Yeah.
Jealousy will get you nowhere, Lou.
They actually have dark hair.
It's not a good trait. Envy is maybe better for you.
Yeah, envy is not in question.
Trust me, you're the only one that looks good in this booth. That's for sure. It's my makeup.
There's the onside kick, and a nice catch and grab, and the Soul are able to stay out of harm's way there. As Lonnie Outlaw, who has a touchdown grab, that one may have been just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went with that up the middle onside kick. You don't see that as often. Occasionally, it can be a surprise. You don't get the high bounce on that type. So if it's not,
it's too easy to field when it's coming right at you.
It is easier.
I tell you what, as being on the hands team, I will tell you this: that for me, the toughest defensive thing to get on an onside kick is not the one that they kick out. I don't really like these ones that they hit and they hit high up. The toughest ones, is the one that bounce.
The squibbers.
Bounce, and then it goes up in the air. That, to me, is the hardest onside to cover because people are at you, and you can never get that third bounce where it's going to be. Again, the bounce, and then it triggers way up in the air.
And I'll say this. I think the hardest is anything that involves that Green Bay Packers backup tight end.
Yeah, right.
Because it cost them a trip to the Super Bowl.
That's a good point.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine being Aaron Rodgers on that one, Lou?
There you go, Billy. They gave you the shot again.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. I was just talking about I was going to say something about a hands team, and they go with the hands team, and it was a perfect timing. And then I get to go to the hands team, and they go right to the offensive lineman. So
Taggart gained 6 yards on the first down carry. That's an important play. Gives Rodabaugh some options here. Throws to the back of the end zone. Marco Thomas with his third touchdown for number 3.
Can you say busted coverage? Busted coverage. Number 14, Phillips, and number 25, 26, Burden were sitting there looking at each other and said, whose man is that?
And that is one of the dangers when you do an onside kick. It can be a score just like that. I don't think it was the wrong call.
No, right.
But, you go from being down 8 back to down 15 if you're the Storm, and it happened in, a matter of a minute or so.
And here's the thing, though. For them, their thought is this. They're going to score anyway, so if they're going to score, let them take 13 seconds off the clock, and then we'll get the ball back, and then we'll see if we can do another onside kick. So sometimes you'll see teams, they'll let them score. They'll start, when they're down, remember we saw that?
Yeah.
They'll just step back, and they won't even play defense. That's what makes the arena, that's what makes the indoor game, I think, interesting, because especially in the last minute or two, there's so much strategy that's different than the outdoor game.
Well, those are some of the things that the NFL has picked up from the indoor game over the years. For instance, you've seen it in the NFL now. If you get a chance to score, you'll put the ball down instead to preserve the clock so that the other team doesn't get the chance. When Westbrook did that a few years ago.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, Brian did that in the Dallas game.
Yeah.
2007.
Joe DeCamara from 97.5, The Fanatic, joining us for the first time in the booth tonight. Joe's a longtime broadcaster, does a great job with talk radio. So when you go back on the air on Monday.
I was just going to say this. Go ahead, Lou. Great job. I was thinking the same thing.
Give me the read on the Sixers draft.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that.
And the resignation of Ryan Sandberg.
Well, let's start Sixers draft. I wanted Russell. I thought he would have been a perfect fit. But it's such a no-brainer to take Jahlil Okafor at 3. And I think people that are criticizing the pick and the whole process now are dramatically undervaluing two things. One, how good Jahlil Okafor is. He's really good, guys. Two, the possibilities of how substantially, if Embiid's healthy, how substantially the Sixers can dominate inside. I mean, think about whichever one's going to be going up against a second-team center. Yeah. He's going to demolish, Lou, the second-team center. So, to me, that's the Sixers. Ryan Sandberg, I think the best line of the day, someone texted me today and said, Ryan Sandberg wasn't happy losing. I guess he would have had a hard time coaching for Sam Hinkie.
I had the same thought. And I was surprised. I was listening to Mike at the time. I was surprised he didn't draw the same conclusion. Maybe he did a little bit later on.
I'll say this, Lou. Ryan Sandberg, with this last 2 years as a manager and then again the resignation today,
Yeah.
has to go down. And it's very limited time in the history of Philadelphia, but 2 different times he came through here with one of the most bizarre
It's not his town.
careers.
It's not going to work here.
Yeah, but it should have been, and it could have been. And it could have been a Hall of Famer. And, of course, the Phils went with Sammy instead of both Julio Franco and Sandberg.
Wow.
But just amazing. You trade him out, Hall of Famer, and bring him back.
And Bill, what were you going to ask, Joe?
I was going to ask him, you got to do this quick, Joe. This is not TV, it's not talk radio. What is your impressions of arena football so far? Can you do that quickly, like 3 of them?
Sure, I'm a fan.
Right now, as Emery Salmons grabs it at midfield, and we got him. Okay.
I've been watching a lot of the games this year, and I'll tell you what, flat out, straight up, I enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would.
Coming and watching it live?
Both.
It's
I've
great,
watched,
isn't it?
Even though for preparing for the game, though, I've watched,
Yep.
I've 8-9 games, all these games, if the audience doesn't know, are available on ESPN3. You can go back the whole season's archives. And I have really enjoyed. See, the thing is, even though it's a different form of football, and some people say a lesser form, the reality is it's an entertaining form. And within that entertainment, there's storylines and there's drama and there's competition. And Lou, that's what athletics is all about. It's about competition, and it's about, from a fan standpoint, the storyline that captivates and grabs you.
Well, I've always said that, Joe, in the kind of strange career that I've had. I've done things like indoor soccer and women's professional soccer as well. And it's all the same. Get to know the players, tell the folks something about the personalities behind it, and the game will take care of itself. You become a fan.
And you go back, to the 70s, the 80s, the wide world of sports. That's what
Same
that was.
concept, yeah. Roone Arledge was way ahead of the game. He did background stories.
No doubt. So all right, so you got arena football, and so
Billy really wants to ask you, are any of these guys as good as me?
what's that? I lost you there. I was going to say, so you got, now that the arena football is living the competition, you're right, and that's what people don't realize. If you come here thinking it's going to be the outdoor game,
no,
it's different. If you come in here and you look at it like you're talking about competing, it is a fun game, and my kids love it. My kids love coming watching.
And especially if you get a chance to sit down low, Bill, because
No
sometimes
doubt.
I'll sit down, if I'm not doing the game, I'll sit with Jaws or my partner Marty Judge right now next to the bench.
Yep.
And I'm always impressed by the intensity of the play. You can really feel it when you're down that low. We come to the 1-minute break. 1 minute left in regulation. We'll take a break. The Soul 51, Tampa Bay 36. Not unheard of in the arena game. Tampa Bay down 15 with 1 minute left, and we revert to the traditional football timing so they can stretch it out. And they begin at the Soul 12-yard line. They need 2 scores, down 15. Boltis in some trouble and caught from behind. That's a fumble. Brian Robinson has it for the Soul. B-Rob with a score.
Well, Lou, what you're seeing right there is a covered sack, big time. Their receivers out there, they kind of just ran these really lazy routes, and the DBs on the other side were able to jump them. No throwing lanes, and the pocket collapsed, Joe.
Well, no question, and guys. That's 2 major plays by the defense this half. I mean, there have been a lot of individual quality plays, but this is 2 big ones.
Patrick Scott had the strip. Patrick Scott, 13.
And you can see there, that's a great shot by the guys in the truck. I mean, that's coming right in your living room right there, and you can see the big fella coming down too. And the Soul cheerleaders, that's another thing about arena football.
Man.
Yeah, another thing about arena football, the cheerleaders are in the opposite end zone.
That's bad.
And as they're coming down, the cheerleaders are scrambling, running for their lives as the big fella's coming down.
And Freevert finally misses the point, but his leg probably a little weary at this point. 48 seconds left to go. We'll keep it right here. Soul up by 21.
And look, that's a big play. You're right, because it's 51-36. Tampa Bay is really driving. They have a chance to score. And what I was saying, that the Soul decided to go man-to-man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great job. Tampa Bay runs a crossing route. They try to get a rub, and the DBs for the Soul stay over top. There's no throwing lane, and I'll be darned if they didn't flush them out of the pocket, and they get the big fumble.
And there's some of the fun that you'll enjoy if you come down to Wells Fargo Center right now. These young fans are enjoying watching themselves on Arena Vision. Perry Rubin and his in-house crew that do such a great job, and the kids seeing themselves on TV. Not unlike the way Billy feels when he watches himself on replay on the Comcast network.
I need a long time. I replay each play about 4 or 5 times.
You jump around in the midst of that, Billy?
Exactly.
How old are your kids now, Bill?
9 and 12.
Wow.
And, speaking of vices, that's why I'm one of my passions, talk about that little. I can't wait to get the helmet on the young fellas, that's for sure. Nice guys there. That's the best. Yeah, there's nothing like, and that's what I was telling you. If you have not come to an indoor arena football game, and you're out there watching this on TV and the Comcast network, do yourself a favor. Come to a game. You will be hooked.
And especially here in Philadelphia
yes.
Listen, guys, the Soul are a good team. And a period, end of story. They are a team that is marching toward a playoff spot, obviously, potentially, and I think likely to the Arena Bowl. And I really think, Lou, it's going to be a matter of, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but I do believe the Soul will be in the Arena Bowl. It's a matter of do they win the game.
We'll have a couple of minutes to talk about that. Bill, you got a point?
Yeah, and not only a good team, Joe. This is the model franchise. This is it's tough to run a franchise in arena football. Like, let's face it, they're constantly scrambling to get fans and get the entertainment dollar in a city. The Soul is a great franchise, too.
Yeah, how I said form usually will out in the course of a game, or certainly in the course of the season, as Boldus throws low for Salmons, and Emery can't quite come up with it. Soul had just 14 points at the half, right?
Yep.
For the season, the Soul averaged 57.5 points and allow 45.4. What's the score right now? 57-36.
That's unbelievable,
Yeah.
Yep. And we were just talking about that. The Soul, right there, they're second in the league in points against. So you look at their scoring offense or scoring defense at 45.4, you're right, and scoring offense, second in the league at 57.3.
Personal foul against the Soul. They'll mark off some yardage. Boldus and his offense will move it up to midfield. Just 37 ticks left in regulation. Boy, what a nightmare the two-game series has been for Tampa Bay against Philadelphia this year, losing 71-27 in Week 9, and now going down after leading 21-14 at the half. Inc is the man in motion. Boldus throwing, of course, to the end zone now and has him. So Tampa will pick up a few more points before this is over. And, well, in Arena Bowl, there's no quit.
What a great route. Oh, my goodness gracious. Kendrick Iggs got up on Romaine, and he thought he was going to run a post route to the left. And Romaine bit, and he just stutter-stepped and went to the right. So, as you said, there is no quit. There's no quit.
What a story this Kendall Inks is, number 17, directly out of high school to a tryout with Tampa in February. Now look what he's doing here. Yeah.
And that was a tremendous. I've seen some of his routes. He's not the best at coming down low and getting out of his routes, but I'll tell you what, he's got some burst.
Got some instinct.
Yes, he does. And he's got a great set of hands for a young kid.
Great returner. They'll go for two here. A little confusion. But they'll line it up for two. Gregory set high up, and they'll throw underneath him. It's swatted away and then picked off by Kent Richardson. So the two-point conversion fails. 30 seconds to go.
Not a very well-executed offensive play there.
That's a good point, Joe.
I think that's a fair way to state it.
Kind of
we saw the
lazy,
confusion.
Right? Like a little lazy route.
I don't think they were sure who was going where there at the start of that play. And by the way, if you're just joining us for the first time here on the Comcast Network, Bill Osborne, Joe DeCamara, I'm Lou Tilley, and we're up in the booth here at the Wells Fargo Center. We're doing a little bit of a different production through my company, Lou Tilley Media, this year, where we utilize some of the in-house existing cameras and marry them with a couple of our own. And if you look to my left back here, you can actually see we moved the control room out of the traditional truck and taken it right up in the booth with us, which drives my guys crazy.
There's Sean. Sean just had a nice little wave, right, Sean? And you had Ben, too. There you go. I see him. There's Ben in the background.
And it's this way, and I can turn around during the breaks and holler at my crew.
Which they love. You're like Clint Dozell
yes.
and Rattleball when he comes to the sideline. He's like, I got to go see Coach every single play. Well, these guys are right next to him.
But the thing is, they holler at us far more for good reason than we holler at them.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah, they're the guys behind us that you don't see. They're the ones that, we're just a byproduct of what they do for us. That's
actually,
sure.
Since I stepped down from traditional broadcasting role a few years ago and got behind the camera, Joe, this is more of what I do rather than actually putting the headsets on and broadcasting. And as you can see, I've stopped caring about my personal appearance, stopped using box dye, and now I look just like my father's hair, as a matter of fact.
I like it. It looks good on you, bud.
It's not gray. It's white. Onside kick. Soul handles it again. It's Binford.
That was one of the
Or Lonnie
slowest.
Outlaw. Lonnie Outlaw.
One of the slowest
That's a great
rolling onside kicks I've ever seen.
Yeah, they ran out the clock.
I
That's
swear
a
to God,
great observation.
It looked like a play, literally, that was replayed in slow motion.
Yep. And how did the Soul come up with the ball? That's it. There was nobody in Tampa
Nobody
Bay
there.
around.
We got to see that play again because that was.
There must have that front line must have done a really good job. And Lou, trust me, I've been on the hands team, and I'm where I used to go exactly where they would kick the ball.
Right.
And the first thing you want to do is get the ball and get down, and you're hoping the front guys actually take a couple guys out, so you don't have guys up on top of you. And I think that's what happened. But
I was waiting for someone from the bench to jump on because there's no one on that side of the field all of a sudden.
And Lou, there's Coach Dozell, the head coach of the Philadelphia Soul. I mean, you've got to give him and his assistant coaches there, Phil Bogle, the assistant head coach, and on the offensive line and defensive line, defensive back coach, Derek Stingley. Those guys, whatever they did at halftime and whatever they said, I like to know because they did a tremendous job coming out with their adjustments in the second half.
Well, Lawrence Samuels, the head coach of Tampa Bay, getting into it with Dave Couttet a little late in the issue. Let's hear what he has to say.
Offsides on the receiving team, which is Philadelphia. By rule, Tampa's taking the option of a re-kick.
Oh, goody.
Okay.
We can do that all over again.
Let's see that. Now, you're talking about, Lou, the interesting camera setup. Well, there's a perfect example where it'd be nice if, you had the ability to say, hey, or guys up here, so let's run a quick replay on that onside kick to see, why the ball took so long to.
I don't have to
run.
because you're doing it. So.
Well, can they hear? Can they do it?
No, they can't.
I didn't think so. That's what I thought. But hey, we'll do it again.
We're working on that next year, though, Bill. We'll have that mastered.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. From my, I haven't had a chance to. Haven't been up here in a couple of weeks, so I watch the games on TV. Great. You guys are doing a great job considering the cameras and everything.
So the final 30 seconds now into its 14th minute.
I caught that, Lou.
Yeah. I love the rolling clock.
I would think the ball would be moved 5 yards forward.
Yeah, you would think.
I don't understand why that would be the case. I mean, it was offside on the Soul.
Oh.
It hit.
Kicker has covered his own onside kick.
Yeah,
the kicker got his own kick.
That shouldn't be legal. I think that ball hit the player.
That's what Ryan McDaniel's saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. And you know what? Did it look like he even knew the ball was coming his way? Or maybe you know what his job was? Maybe his job was just to go block that guy because he was not looking for the ball at all. And that was number one, TJ Tolliver. Is that right?
And there's a flag on the goal line, which means that Tampa's offsides at that.
12 of the kicking team. Penalties after distance, Philadelphia ball.
So we've moved it down to 25 seconds left.
And that should do it.
And Lou, now we talk about the outdoor game and the indoor game. Now, and of course I'm a fan, and I know you are too. You're hooked. This is the one area where they have to do something in the game because there's too many penalties, there's too many flags, and there's too many stoppages. Yep.
Well, I was only half kidding. We're starting a new league in China.
Yep.
My partner, Marty Judge, Ron Jaworski, and I'm going to have a role in that, and we're looking at what we'll do differently there.
Yeah.
And one of the things is we'll keep the game moving.
Yeah.
And we'll do it a little bit differently. And I'm sure that they're thinking about that. I know the new commissioner here is very active during his first season in making some tweaks to a great game. Brought a ball with a pump fake. Adam Smith has his second touchdown of the night. The big guy is going to do a double helping of wings at Chickies and Pete's about an hour from now. And he can put him down, Billy. Big Adam can wolf him down.
Well, great ball fake right there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You have the motion man, and you said when the play comes in, you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, they can't see my face, because I'm so excited.
Right.
And you're right, a great job of selling the toss to the wide side of the field, and then the big fella on the line, he's got to block down to really sell the run and then release out, and he did a great job.
That's funny you say that, though. That's funny.
Underrated part of quarterbacking. And we see it with Russell Wilson with Seattle. We
yeah,
saw it for
ball
years.
handling is so key.
Brett Favre had it too.
Absolutely.
Yep. I mean, it's.
I'll tell you who else had it. It was a great ball. Boomer Esiason.
Boomer was great.
Ball handler.
Great. And you know what? And I'm telling you, and when I look at film and
formation defense, penalties decline. Score is good.
So what I try and do is when I'm coaching the quarterbacks and when I try and tell them is that when you watch film, you can hold one or two guys with your play fake. Now, 90%, 95% of the plays, it doesn't matter.
That's
but
a lot.
Yeah, but that 1 or 2% that you're
huge.
able to hold a guy, when that guy busted instead of a 5-yard gain, now instead of a 20-yard gain, it's a touchdown.
Well,
you hard that guy.
That's why on defense you're never supposed to look at the quarterback.
That's right.
Well, it's also, in many ways, one of the main premises of Chip Kelly's offense.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Next game here at the Wells Fargo Center. We're going to take a week off. Guys, get a bye week. Come back on the 11th for an afternoon game, and it's Military Appreciation Day, so show your appreciation for the military and for your Philadelphia Soul, the best professional team in Philadelphia right now, as they steamroll towards the playoffs, taking on their arch rivals, team they're likely to meet in those playoffs, the Cleveland Gladiators. Tickets at 888-789-SOUL. Freevert will kick it away with just... Wow, still 21 seconds left.
Well, tremendous comeback by the Soul. You know, let's remember, they were down,
2 scores,
I believe it was early second quarter, 21-7.
Yep.
So this is a tremendous surge here tonight.
Yink has some trouble, and then he'll just set it down. That doesn't run any time.
I mean, they have outscored Tampa Bay. I'm using my fourth grade.
I got it.
Where'd you graduate?
I got it.
I went to St. Joe's Prep.
Nice.
I got it. 50-21 since the half.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So with about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, they have run off 50-7.
50-21.
50-21.
Wow.
Since the half.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I'll remember it was 27-0 Soul after the first half in Week 9 down at Tampa, and 34-0 in the third quarter. They've just flipped it around this time. There's Inc., the young player right out of high school, across midfield,
tough.
20. And they're still knocking heads down there. Joe Gooseby is a mean son of a gun at linebacker for the Soul out of Tulane. 6'2", 230. The first ever arena football game that Joe Gooseby saw was the Philadelphia Soul in the Arena Bowl back in 2008.
And the last time these two teams met was, of course, the game, Joe Gooseby had the game, perhaps of the year.
Right, 3 rushes for touchdowns, filling in the fullback for Tommy Taggart, and 1 on defense as well.
Let me ask you guys a question. You like that timeout by Tampa Bay?
No, I can't stand this stuff. This drives me nuts, in case you couldn't tell.
I mean, is he trying to make a point? What's he doing?
I don't know.
What's he doing, Bill?
Well, points might make a difference in the playoff stack, actually, in their race against Orlando.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to score a point here, and because obviously the game is decided already. And there's one of the owners, and he's saying the same thing. Look at him. Why in the world? Right. There's my neighbor, Ron Jaworski. To his right is Liz. Yep. That's the matriarch there of the family, and he's saying to himself, "What in the world are you calling a timeout
for?"
And
that's Tara Judge to the far screen right, Marty Judge's daughter, with her husband Ken Bozarth at the game here tonight. 5 seconds to go. The sack. Well, defense makes a difference no matter what form of football you play. And Boltis is hurt. Boltis is hurt. Let's see if the camera coverage stays with it. If we break away, I'll update it for you before we go off. But it looks like he banged his head, Bill.
Yeah, it did. There's a coach that's down there for Tampa Bay, and I don't know if he's mad at his team or if he's mad at, why did we snap that ball? I don't know what's going on, but let's hope he's okay. It looked like it's his knee or his head, Lou.
I think it was his head.
Okay.
Well, we saw Sean Kaolina Namoko, SK, hurt on the last play, on a meaningless play a couple of weeks ago. Boltis is up now, but looks kind of woozy. But he is up.
There's a good shot of the...
And he's angry, but it looks like he's going to be okay. Check the website for the Tampa Bay Storm. By the way, an excellent website. We've been working off of it all week. Great organization down there with the Lightning co-owners with the Tampa Bay Storm, one of the great franchises in AFL history. One of the originals came out of Pittsburgh. But the final will be Philadelphia on top tonight. 64-42 is the final score. Guys, we won't get together for another couple of weeks, but give us some thoughts on how long this road could go for the Soul, Joe.
I think the Soul are really well positioned, Lou. Again, the Soul win here tonight. If Cleveland loses this weekend, Soul in the playoffs. I don't think there's any question, Billy, that the Soul are the best team in the conference. And it's, again, they're going to have to do some work in the playoffs to get to the Arena Bowl, but I believe they will. And it's going to be a matter of, which of the two teams out in the other conference will they play and who will have home field advantage. The Soul are very, very well positioned. And it's not even just about your position in your standings. They're a really good team. I mean, they struggled in the first quarter and a half here tonight, but they showed they're a really good team.
Okay, I agree. I mean, I think they're a really good team, and I think they got to make sure that they play. When you get in the playoffs, you can't come out flat like you did at the beginning of the game and be able to turn it on. So, but I think they are the class of the conference for sure.
All our thanks to Lou Tilley Media, Leah Swatuka, Jeff Moss, producers, and Perry Rubin with Arena Vision for our broadcast here on the Comcast Network and on ESPN3 tonight. Now I'm Lou Tilley for Lou Tilley Media. The final score, the Philadelphia Soul 64, the Tampa Bay Storm 42. Y'all have a great week. Good night, everybody.